They had a sold-out Crypto.com arena was over 10 years ago for an actual playoff game.
Oh.
It was the year Kobe tore his Achilles. That's how long it's been. Lakers go to the
It's been
they go
84
6 years. They go 6 years without making the playoffs. You better play that for the Kings coming up against the Warriors.
All easy now.
He takes
But
it very
is this a
personally.
playoff game? Like, would you
No,
consider
it's
it
not a
playoff
playoff
game?
game.
This
It's
is
not.
not a
It's a
playoff
play-in
game.
tournament.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's a gateway drug.
It's
it's a gateway game to get to the playoffs.
Which is the drug.
Yeah,
Will it feel like it, though?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it will.
I think it will feel like
Yeah, I
it.
think it will.
I think that it's going to feel like it for all the reasons that you just said. Emily's been telling me this for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Right? Just to have a game in crypto for the first time in forever. I did not know it was that long.
Oh, yeah, it's that
Sliwa.
long.
That's crazy because did they have one kind of quasi-capacity game against the Suns a couple years ago?
So they had the play-in against the Warriors that season, and it was limited capacity. Then they had the first-round playoffs against the Suns. That's when Lakers went up 2-1 and then lost 3 in a row, but that one was limited capacity as well. 10 years. 10 years.
A lot
since you
can
had it
happen in
sold
10
out.
years, my
A
friend.
lot can happen.
10 years ago, well, we were all in different places.
Things were different 10 years ago. Things were a little different.
You can watch us on YouTube today, ESPN LA. Just search YouTube, ESPN LA. Tonight, coverage begins at 6 p.m. The Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off with Slee. That's not true. 5:30 p.m.
5:30.
Excuse me.
5:30.
I was getting excited. 5:30 p.m. The Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off after shit out of a cap. And then 7 o'clock, John Ireland, Michael Thompson have your play-by-play. Your Lakers playoff station, 710 ESPN, even though it's not the playoffs yet. But we advanced the branding.
Pre-playoffs.
We're right now the Lakers playing.
Yeah,
Station.
that doesn't pop.
We're in the play. We're the
That doesn't
play-in
pop
station.
as much, Slee.
They're going to be in the playoffs. It's a wrap. I'm telling you, Lakers by a million.
Why are you saying that?
Yesterday, because they're going to win, and they're going to win decisively.
They definitely should win, and they definitely
going to.
should win
They're going to.
decisively.
How often have I said they're going to win? They're going to win. I think once or twice, and I've been right both times. I'm going to make it 3 for 3 tonight.
And you called the Logan Roy.
I did.
Now,
I did.
I thought it would happen at the end. I thought that was sort of going to be the finale. But
Yeah.
you said mid-season.
I said, Emily and I were talking about it
Yeah.
a couple weeks or a week or so ago, and I said they're going to kill the old man because you want to see the children turn on each other and everything.
Well, the show's
that's gonna
called
come-
Succession.
Of course it is.
We wanted
So
to see the succession.
He was
you did
supposed to
want
die in
see
the first
succession.
season.
Was he?
Yes. So the plan was for him to die in the first season. It was kind of like a Jesse Pinkman thing where the way that Brian Cox was playing the character was just so good they couldn't kill him. But he was supposed to die in the first season.
That was sort of our plan with Kaplan, and then he's survived multiple changes. So he's still in the afternoon.
Thriving.
But right, Travis,
He's thriving.
you were pretty right. You said that he would die.
Emily, did I hear you right?
Travis
Wow.
is right.
Okay.
You said that he would die, and here's what you said.
I thought he would die towards the end of the series, but
And
it
alone.
wouldn't be that I thought he would die alone, and I thought that he would die what do they got, 10 episodes in a season?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it'd be somewhere 6, 7, 8.
And while he didn't
somewhere
die
around
alone,
there.
he did die around leeches and no family.
He did die
members.
alone. He
died
lived,
without family
He lived
members.
alone, right? Like his entire existence was lonely. The bodyguard was his best friend, which he had confessed a day or
He
an
died
episode or
around
two before.
hired guns and leeches that wanted to use him
He
to grow
died
up the
around
power.
employees. That's
Yes.
dying alone, right?
And maybe with Gary and
Yeah, maybe the bathroom thing is a little. The fact that they so here was as it's all happening.
Yes.
that they didn't show him
Taylor,
for
we
a
don't
very
have to
long
watch it.
time.
By
So
the
did
way,
you watch
we
the
got everything
post?
right now.
Did you watch the what would you call it? Emily?
after the episode breakdown.
The breakdown.
I did not watch
They
that.
talk about why they didn't want to do that. They
Okay.
want you to feel the emotion of finding out with the children.
Technology and like the detachment of this day and age of technology separating you from your family.
100%, but I'm talking like physically, not that you saw him fall and die, but you never saw, like you saw the flight attendant
Compressions.
working on him, you
Mm-hmm.
saw that, you never saw his body, and for half of the episode,
You thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a setup.
Right.
I thought that they were playing it to see, he decided, call the kids, tell them I'm
Right.
dying, and he wanted to see their reaction, to test their loyalty, all
and
of
to
this
lower
kind
the
of stuff.
stock price, whatever.
All of those things, and then, nope, actually
I also
did.
Nope.
think it's
Didn't happen,
interesting that
Taylor.
you didn't have the big Brian Cox like going out final words thing because
Right.
he's such a I feel like if I was Brian Cox, I would be mad that I didn't get this like big dramatic final
Was that
scene.
not the speech on the top of the paper boxes?
But that was last episode. In your final episode, the last thing he says is like, get the gates ready or something. It was
Right.
it was very much it was all just preparing for this this deal to be done.
Gosh, I love it.
You went even bigger. You thought it's one of the biggest moments in HBO TV.
Top 5 moment in HBO series history.
It's with Sopranos. It's with The
Yeah.
Red Wedding.
Yeah.
It's with there's some other things that I can't think about right now, but they're
when
all
Vince
up there.
doesn't get Aquaman. No, I'm just kidding.
I also have a theory about
We're doing the movie. Vince is back in. No, he's out. There's the entire series of Entourage. We're going to buy Maseratis.
100%.
He's in and he's out. He's in, he's out.
I have a theory about the rest of the season. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Apple does not allow villains to use iPhones. Okay, so it's actually real,
See?
Chris.
We're looking at you.
So they do not allow
That's why I have the
villains
Pixel.
to use iPhones. And so if you see, I mean, this has been pointed out in Glass Onion. I don't know if you guys ever watched any of the Knives Out things, but anybody who doesn't have an iPhone is immediately you can clock it as maybe this is the villain of the series. And you know who is the only person who does not use an iPhone in Succession? Tom Waskans. He has a Samsung Galaxy, and you can tell by the phone.
So, Sliwa, you're the
phones in
villain
back.
in this show. You're the villain. Your
Don't tell
pixel is a
anybody.
He
tell.
ruins all the group chats.
JC and I share a lot. Well, no point in watching Succession now. For those of us who haven't started season 1 yet.
Well,
we're on the
Well,
same
the show
boat.
is called Succession, so again,
We're on
there's
the-
more
we're on the
things
same
to
boat.
watch.
season 1 came out, 3 years ago?
And we gave you an entire day. We gave you
Oh, no,
warning
no,
shots
we're-
on the air yesterday.
We're only 3 years behind, Taylor. I think at this
I
point,
feel bad for nobody.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Did you know the
Yeah, I'm caught
iPhone little...
The amount of
Easter
text
egg?
messages that Emily and I have exchanged over the last 48 hours about Succession
Yes.
is incredible.
Because I like to be around other people
I
who are
love it.
excited about the things that I want to see. So this morning when I asked you, did you watch it? You had less than enthusiasm, which is fine because that's par for the course for your TV show watching.
Yeah.
I expected that, and I just wanted to see your first reactions. But then I go for Chris with all my theories and my memes and
I
all the
listened
good
to your
stuff.
theories,
I
and I
understand.
was paying attention. I'm ready for it to be over. I like it. The episode with the old man was compelling, but I'm ready for the
You're
Succession.
done with it?
I'm ready for the Succession to take place. I want them all to turn on each other, which is inevitable. I want Kendall to have a complete downward spiral, which is inevitable. I'm ready for it. And then
I
we can
want.
put a bow on it.
Well, this is all what happens when you try to go for the queen, Jerry. When you try to go for the queen, you end up in where you end
So
up.
producer Emily actually texted during Easter dinner, and I saw it pop up on my watch, and usually during family dinner like that, I will ignore it. But I saw Emily pop up, and I went, this could be important. I looked at it, and she just said,
wasn't.
did you watch yet? And I looked at my family, I said, this is DEFCON 4.
Guys, I have to leave.
Because if Emily's interrupting Easter dinner with this,
Something must have
Something
happened.
big
It wasn't my
happened.
Easter dinner, but yeah, I wanted to. Obviously, I was not going to go into any of my theories with anybody I texted. I was just like, "Did you watch?" That's it. Period. And so I wanted to make sure that everyone
When
was
you
Dot,
came
dot.
in yesterday, you asked me if I'd watched. I said I hadn't seen it yet, and you're like, "Okay." You practically ran out of the room, Emily. You're like, I got to get out of here.
Well,
I
I
can't say anything
I
else.
didn't want to spoil it for people. I wanted people to have the experience they should have.
I did. It was good. I liked it.
did you not watch because of Easter?
I usually am a day late guy.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a day late guy.
It's on Travis' schedule.
Monday is a
Travis-
good day to catch up on that.
Yeah, I was
Or
busy
Sunday
with
when it
Easter.
comes out.
We had family. We did the whole Easter thing.
Did you cook for
I
Easter?
did- I did.
What'd you make?
I made wedge salads to start. I made bee's knees cocktails.
Do you know what a bee's knees cocktail is? Slim?
I think we've talked about it. I
Would
can't.
you like to know the ingredients? There's only 3. It's honey syrup, gin, and fresh lemon juice. It's quite good. I made wedge salads. I made steak au poivre with peppercorns, cream, and cognac.
It looks really good.
I made pan-seared salmon and roasted potatoes.
Where's the
with a
leftovers?
chocolate cake for dessert.
Where's the leftovers?
What kind of chocolate cake?
Just regular box chocolate cake. Susan actually made
Taylor, that sounds delicious, bro.
it. It was
Sounds
quite good.
really good.
He
Yeah.
sent me pictures of it.
I
Sounds
did.
really good.
I
It
did.
looked
You
really
looking for an
good.
invite, Slee, or what?
No, just some leftovers.
I think demolished.
John?
Demolished. Are you a steak au poivre guy, Chris?
I am not. No. But I did. Lent was over, so I went back to hard booze.
Why
and
do you not like steak au poivre?
I don't like steak.
Why?
I don't. But now I'm done. I got to go back on the Lent because it was a long weekend. It's just
Did you
not.
make up for everything in like
Do you
the
not
40
like
days
black
in
pepper?
one
Do
day?
you not like cognac? Do
What
you
kind
not-
of black pepper? Was it freshly ground?
It's crushed peppercorns. By definition, steak au poivre has crushed black peppercorns.
Let me get a thumbs up from the social media team back there that everyone is in the shot that needs to be. Real quick, okay? It is 10:10 a.m. It is time. Last year was our inaugural version of the 710 Mandy Awards. We've got our second one coming up. When is it, boss Amanda Brown?
The date for the second annual 710 Mandy Awards is Saturday, June 10th at the Commerce Casino.
All right.
Look at that. We're going to Commerce. Last year we went to Montebello. Now we're going to Commerce. Going to be a party, oh party. And we're doing it on a Saturday.
I like it.
For people like you and Shinano that went, oh, Friday night's too tough.
I don't think I said that, but okay.
Tickets go on sale almost exactly 7 days from now.
Okay.
Tuesday, April 18th at 10:30 a.m.
When can we start lobbying for votes?
Next Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, voting starts next Tuesday also, right?
I'm lobbying
Yeah.
this year.
You're going to lobby?
I'm taking a different approach. Last year I tried to slow play.
Well,
We were too cool for school.
It didn't work.
We were all too cool for
going
school.
we're going
and
at
now
it
then,
you're
differently
going
this
after
year.
it.
We're going to
because
do it
You
differently.
guys went 0 for last year.
Slee got one.
I mean, technically,
Slee got one.
Well, that one doesn't really count.
no, I
And
gave
Trav got one.
I
It's
gave
just
one
me and
away. So
Huh?
does that we gave one away? Does that count? Because we held the trophy for a quick second. Does that count at
And then
all
you
for
gave it
anything?
away?
We're
Then we
changing
gave it away.
Touched
tactics.
it.
We touched it. Yeah, we touched it.
Sometimes, yeah. Anyway, so the death of Logan Roy has inspired you to actually lobby for votes
I'm
so
gonna
that you can get some hardware this year.
I would like to win a Mandy.
Okay.
I plan on aggressively campaigning for said Mandy, and I'm going to approach it differently. I tried one tactic. It didn't work. You got to change it up.
Got to try something different.
Absolutely.
I think this summer you try to win a Mandy and you try to hit 2 home runs at our All-Star Friday night. Not to mix the events, but
You mean
I think
this?
that, yeah. Does Travis go deep? Travis goes deep!
Travis, we want you to go deep several times.
Thank you, Amanda.
It is a live
Might be-
imaging
It might
Tuesday.
not be a bad one to have right after Does Travis Go Deep?
I mean, jeez.
Good night, everyone.
I'd like to win a Mandy. We'll just put it at that. And I'd like our show to win several.
All right, 1 week from today, we'll get a chance to start selling the tickets.
Yeah.
By the way, they're going to
Tickets
go.
and
It's going to be the
voting.
same thing like last year. If
we
you
have
don't,
more seats this year.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually,
Oh,
we have
nice.
more. There are more spots this year because we are in a bigger
venue.
Yeah.
venue. Yes.
All right, good.
So we'll get to have more fans there.
June 10th, Commerce Casino. Tickets on sale 1 week from today. So you going to
Saturday
wear
night,
your
too.
tux again?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Got a
feel
lot
like
of time we've got a couple
we got a
months
lot.
to
We
figure
got
it
a lot
out.
of time to think about it.
You got 2
Like, do you
months.
do costume? Do you do camp? Or do you just go typical? I think I
You
can.
looked pretty good last year.
Yeah.
Slee.
You did.
Yeah,
So
you
good.
did, Slee.
Yeah, I
Don't
don't know.
go the
I think
Cappy route.
we go.
I mean, Cappy can pull that off, but
Oh,
you,
Well, you got to. It has to fit the personality.
yes.
If I do something that Cappy was doing, I don't know if that's gonna
Gotta pick a
drive.
I
secret
think you're
agent.
on. Yeah. He had
Yeah,
a very
I-
James Bond vibe
yes,
going.
and that's good. That's a good look for you.
We know whatever. Look, I'm gonna be curious. What do people? How much does it change from last year to this year? People's attire, everything else. We got some time to think about it.
2 months.
We got some time to think
Yeah.
about it.
Travis will wear the same suit. Anyway,
Of course I am.
Different
know.
tie.
I bought that suit. Look, the last suit I got like 10 years out of. We've only had this one for a year.
Travis-
if the
Did you buy
Mandy's
it
run for a
specific
decade,
for the Mandy's?
No,
I
he
had
had
a
a wedding.
wedding and a
Oh.
Mandy's, and it was
Yeah.
just it was the perfect
Will
time.
you
for-
at least wear a different tie?
like clockwork, Amanda, I buy a new suit every 10 years, whether I need
Different
Travis
tie,
gets a
different
I didn't wear a
suit.
tie.
maybe?
yeah, I
last
don't
year.
think you did
I
tie.
didn't wear a tie.
Travis
You
gets
gonna
a
button it
suit.
as low as Morales?
I can't really do that. No,
You
Let
can
the
if you
chest
want.
hair hang
I don't
out?
have the game that you have in that department.
The chest hair
I
hang
don't
out.
have. I don't have that.
Travis gets a suit like a used car, right? You know, you get a car and you get it for. Yeah, I got 250,000 miles off of it.
Right.
That's kind of what you did with your suit.
It's exactly how.
It's
I
exactly
do with
what you
my
did.
suit. That's exactly right.
Oh, you can tease now.
I'm just. I did. Sometimes you get upset when I.
No,
look
I
like
think
you're
we're good.
ready
We,
to
we
go.
did a whole
You
segment
ready to
there.
go? All right, you're ready to go. Lakers play in tonight, Slee. I told you Lakers by 1 million. Am I starting to scare you yet? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. You dealing with
And then it's rum, and then it's bourbon or whiskey, and he's like, absolute, thank you.
No throttle.
It's that day of the week where you just never know what's coming out the 710 speakers.
The butter thing was great.
Totally worked.
We're going to need that to be a drop, Jorge. The butter thing is great because it is a live imaging Tuesday. This is the best fun and frivolity you get.
Yeah.
Move over Taco Tuesdays. It's live imaging Tuesdays with Chris Morales.
Kaplan might be playing pro ball, but he's not in the bigs yet. Morales in the bigs, all-star, if you will, when it comes to dressing the part.
Live imaging Tuesdays is on.
Yes, sir.
710 ESPN.
Baby, can't you see?
Oh, little 2003 Britney. Was it 3 or 2? Doesn't matter. Was this on the album? I had that poster in my office back in that day. Because she came to, it was Premier Radio Networks, and she had come and done some signings. Was it In the Zone? We'll look it up for you.
I'm looking it up right now.
That was top level, Britney, from the music standpoint, from everything. Remember the
It
MTV
was
Awards?
In the Zone,
In the
you're
Zone.
right.
I
And
got
it's the
good
blue cover.
2003 Britney knowledge.
You started to say about the MTV Awards?
Remember the one with the snake?
I do.
In 2000, right before 9/11, like
Yes.
a week before 9/11.
Yes.
Yeah, it was quite. Anyway, it's a live imaging Tuesday. Travis and Sliwa, as our boss announced minutes ago, Mandy's 2, the inaugural 710, not inaugural, the second version of the 710 Mandy Awards will happen Saturday, June 10th.
The sequel.
The sequel at the Commerce Casino in Commerce, right over there off the 5 freeway, next to the Citadel. Come on out. We will put tickets on sale 1 week from today, and last year it sold out, I think, 8 hours?
It was done by the end of the day.
Yeah, it
Two
did not
Mandys,
take long.
Too Furious. I got more. I'm coming.
That's pretty good. I like that. We're already getting tweets, Chris. You ready?
Yes.
This is from John in Huntington Beach. He says, tell my boy Tommy L that I currently am open on the 10th, so reserve the table behind you guys for the All-Stars. And yes, I will accept my Contributor of the Year award. I don't know if are we having any new awards, or is this
Well, after Raul
Well-
vanished after Caller of the Year, I think we're going to change that to just Listener of the Year.
One more on that note.
Sure, yeah.
This is from Francis. So should I call on the 8th or the 9th for the Trav and Slee Caller of the Year award? Hashtag Mandy's.
I think this is a compliment, so don't take this the wrong way. This show has progressed more than any other show over the last year to a point where we're not relying as much on callers to do our bits. That's a compliment. So I think the Caller of the Year is we're just going to change it to the Station Listener of the Year.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
You know what I mean? Last year at this time, the first year of the show, we were kind of relying on a lot of callers to kind of get us through segments. Now, you got Taylor and Emily full strength. Okay?
Yeah.
You don't need, a lot of calls.
8777. Let's open up the phone
In fact,
lines.
what I'm hoping for, and this is what I'm campaigning for, is that Emily or Taylor takes home a Mandy Award.
Yeah.
And you guys know.
I was waiting for the second part of that.
Well,
I
by
knew
the
that
way-
was
Nominate
coming.
Snake Draft?
By the way,
It's a snake draft.
if that happened, Trav, would we not just feel like, yeah, we sort of got one, like by default?
Look, I can
No,
say
Travis wants one.
By default.
I do want one. That's true. I would be very proud of either or both of them if they won one.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I'd rather have one. If I had to pick between myself or them, I pick myself.
Taylor would let you borrow
But-
one for a week.
Put it on my mantle, but I would very much like that.
Now, here's the other thing today. We can use some help from our audience. We have got a lot of the categories already from last year, right? Of people, the categories we won or used for voting. If you've got a category idea that's a little outside the box, as we like to say in corporate America,
Send them in.
tweet it out at ESPN Los Angeles, hashtag Mandy Awards. I don't know if we're going to do a new hashtag like Mandy Awards 2 with the Roman numeral, but we'll just do Mandy Awards today. If you got an outstanding category idea,
Best
let us know.
Travis and Sliwa person. Of the
just
four
comes
people
down-
in here, like just to guarantee.
No, they're
that
not even nominated. They
Look,
can't even
just
be
to
in it.
guarantee that somebody in this room gets one. The best. I don't even. At that point, I would take ownership of whether it was you, Emily, Taylor, or whoever. As long as one of the four of us
What
leaves
if we
with
did
something,
a Travis
I'd be happy.
or Sliwa award? And you know how they have in the big
give
award
it to
show,
or.
the
Yes.
camera goes on both guys who are or
Perfect.
the actor or actress. We're just both
And we'll be sitting there all the
one of
pensive
us win, and there isn't even an award. For it.
I would give you the courtesy clap. The obviously disappointed, but I have to do it because the camera's on me.
I would
Do the
curse.
Angela Bassett.
Yes, indeed.
all right, Lakers playing basketball tonight. Coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. with Slee. Travis and Slee, what continues right now?
Thank you, Chris. Here's one more, Slee. This is also from John. He wants to know, can I get Bobby's number to make sure he's available to sit with me on the 10th? Thanks in advance. Hashtag the Mandys. I will make sure that he is out of town. I will send him on a trip.
Yeah, last year.
I don't like to cross those streams too much.
Last year, you kept saying he was in Oregon, but I think you were saying the week of. It's like, yeah, Bobby and I went and did this and that. I'm like, Trev, your story.
He left on Friday morning, and then came back on Friday night. It was a quick little day trip for him along the way. So that's exciting. We're back with the
Yeah.
Mandy's June 10th Commerce Casino. We will sell tickets and start voting a week from today. So that is very, very exciting.
Perfect venue for it too.
Little exciting tonight across the street. So
Yeah.
You fired up? Tell me where you are right now going into this thing, because I am as confident with this group of
Yeah.
Laker players as I've been at any point. I think that they're going to win. I think that they're going to win comfortably. I think that they're going to go in as the 7th seed, and I think that they're going to give Memphis a hell of a run too, and I think they're going to beat them. I'm already thinking, are we going to get the Warriors or the Kings in the second round? I've already moved ahead to that.
All right, I'll tell you where I'm at. I think it's really difficult not to be very confident about the game tonight. All right, you have, first off, the game's at Crypto, so you didn't have to travel to Minnesota. That's a factor. Second of all, the Minnesota Timberwolves decided in these last couple of games to lose 3 key players. Naz Reid's already been out because he's been injured, but they're missing 3 guys. McDaniels, Gobert, and Naz Reid are 3 important pieces. The Lakers have went 18-8 over the course of the last 26 games. I didn't like the way they played the last week of the season. I'm just going to pretend that they just knew they were going to beat teams that weren't playing their guys. There's nothing that really indicates that the Lakers should have a lot of trouble tonight, and there's nothing that really
Does
indicates.
that scare you in and of itself?
So I think
Because
that's kind of the
every
roundabout.
expert, like, you know, they do the thing, like
Sure.
they pick football games on weekends, they
Yeah.
put up the logo and all that stuff, or
And
a
all
boxing
says
match.
Kansas
Just-
City, or it's-
just
yeah.
everybody takes one team. You're like, uh-oh. That's kind of what we have going on right here.
But I don't blame them. Like, there isn't really that much of a case to make. I'll tell you what would concern me when the game starts. What would concern me is the Lakers come out and kind of a little lackadaisical.
You really, honestly, do
No,
you
I don't
really
think it's going to
that's
happen.
a possibility?
I don't think it's going
I
to
don't
happen,
either.
but I'll tell you the last week, they played lackadaisical. They did. So last week of the regular season, they did it. However, this is, the circumstances are different. If you're at half and it's a 4-point game, just that the Minnesota Timberwolves feel like, hey, guys, we're in it, and there's only 24 minutes left to go. If the fourth quarter starts and it's not a double-digit lead for the Lakers and it's a 4-point game or a 6-point game or maybe a 2-point game, something like that, all you just don't want is the Minnesota Timberwolves to feel like, we got nothing to lose here. We get an extra game afterwards anyways if we lose it. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't. Talent-wise, what the Lakers have, the fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves are missing a lot of their guys, this should be a comfortable win for the Lakers. Now they just got to go out there and make it happen.
The Minnesota Timberwolves are missing 3 players that they usually play and play a lot. That's a big deal. That's not just, oh, this guy's missing and this guy punched a wall and another guy's hurt. They're missing important players to what it is that they do. The Lakers are not. The Lakers are as healthy as they've been. They're playing. I understand what you're saying about the last week or so. The fact of the matter is they've won 18 of their 8 games. They're 8-1 with D'Angelo,
LeBron and
AD all playing together. Those guys are going to be there. Austin Reeves is playing at a high level. Dennis Schroeder's playing at they're going to be going in with their most complete complement of players. that they are as healthy as you could reasonably ask a team to be at this point in the season, and they're going in there with one of the great finishers and closers in NBA history in LeBron James, who's going to make sure that lackadaisical thing you're talking about is incredibly unlikely to happen. That, look, I get it. Anything can happen on any given night. I just don't think anything's going to happen tonight. I think the Lakers are in great shape.
And that takes me back to, I mean, imagine if it'd be very disappointing if they don't do what I think everybody's expecting them to do. People aren't all picking the Lakers because people aren't all picking the Lakers because they're the Lakers. They're picking the Lakers because they've played really good basketball over a stretch. They got all the pieces that you need. They're healthy at the right time. That's why they're picking the Lakers. One thing I'll give Minnesota some credit on, when Gobert did his thing, when McDaniels decided to punch a wall, they were down double digits in the second half and came back and won that game with as light as a crew that they had. Maybe that gives them a little bit of something, but all the Lakers have to do is just be the Lakers,
they still
and
have
they
their
should be fine.
two best players. They've got Anthony Edwards and they've got Cat. So they've got both of their two best players, but so do the Lakers, and then their third, fourth, fifth, sixth guys along the way. You knew that the Mandy's announcement would bring out the biggest and brightest stars in the 710 universe. None other than the big CY is on the phone. Slee, what's up, Yates?
Doing well. I'm out here in the foothills of North Carolina enjoying some family time, listening to the station and loving the announcement. Heard my own voice on a promo, so props to Morales because he does bring it on the dressing front at all times. Just want to give a shout-out to his lovely sweatsuit that he had on at the Pickleball Challenge, which was just perfect Morales speed. But I have some updates for you guys. Number one, Emily, I spent the last week before I was here in Charlottesville, Virginia on assignment. So I did a little work down there in Albemarle County, got to see a lot of people, stomped all over what they call the grounds, Sliwa. They don't call it campus. They call it grounds because that place is that weird. So I did that. And number two, Travis, this is very important.
Okay.
I am the environs of Durham, North Carolina.
Nice.
The home site of one of the greatest baseball films made of all time.
Yep.
As we know, which is Bull Durham. I will on Wednesday be throwing out the first pitch.
Oh, that's awesome.
At the Durham Bulls game.
That's great.
I'm enlisting in a throw session with a local high school coach that I know here from my baseball circles. We're going to get a little program going today, and by that, we're probably going to throw 15 times. And then tomorrow...
You know you only get one when you go out there, Yates, right?
Yes,
the next 14 won't matter.
I'm going to give you a full bullpen session beforehand to warm up. But my family's coming out. It should be a good time at the ballpark. The Bulls are playing, I believe, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Sure.
I believe I have that right. And so I'm excited to get back out there on the bump. And, you know, I'm not going to try to go full Travis Kelce. Just kind of get it over with maybe an infield throw. I'm not going from the stretch or anything like that. So I'm very
You're going to be on the rubber, though, right?
I think so. I mean, here's the deal. Is that if they don't ask you to go on the rubber, it's a slightly rude maneuver in terms of the groundskeepers.
Like, get a little closer, a little closer.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to say, hey, rubber. And if they give me sort of I'll say, okay, I'll go from the front of the thing.
Yeah.
But if they say, hey, you want to get up on the rubber, I'm definitely taking
Go to the rubber.
got to do it. Last point, and this is for you, Travis. You said, are we updating our looks based on the inaugural mandate? Now, for me, I'm going with, for those of you who remember, all of those of you who were inducted into the Handsome Man community by proxy that night. What a glorious night that was in the community.
I had to run in, Clinton, just because I wanted to hear what your outfit was going to be. So let's hear it.
I was wearing all white that day, and shout to Greg as well. We went shopping. We did all the things. I'm going to continue all white, but with different actual pieces. So the theme will continue. The outfit will change. If that gives you any sort of insight into what I'm doing, Travis, as a stylish man in the 710 galaxy.
Indeed.
So, that's just what I'm going to do.
I like it.
And Clinton will return once again this year to host the red carpet.
Again, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? This
Stone
is what
cold.
we do in this realm of the world. So looking forward to it. Glad everybody's happy about it. And the announcement's gone great. Great to hear you guys.
Good luck with the throw, and I'm sure you've done it before, but aim high, right? If you're going to miss a little high.
Yep, little at the letters is what we call that.
There you go.
There you go. All right, guys.
I couldn't take the rest of the day off.
I'm still fascinated by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Yeah, they got some weird names.
It's a real team.
How about the Trash Pandas? No hitter, 7 runs. That happened. That was the Trash Pandas.
By the way, while this was going on, Clinton, I got a scathing note on Instagram. This is what producer Emily's used to, about us giving it away, the spoiler. We gave you a day, and yesterday on the air, we made it specific that we weren't going to do it yesterday, but we did it today. That was a company decision, not just me. We all decided that was a good move. So I'm apologizing if we spoiled it for you, but I don't know what to tell you. You turned on a radio station.
Yeah, and it was on Sunday night, and it's Tuesday morning, so we're good. I feel, Emily, don't sweat it. Chris, don't sweat it. We're fine.
Oh,
we're good.
You know me.
I know you're not sweating it.
I enjoy it. Keep it coming.
You're curating it.
Oh, yeah.
You want to collect more of it along the way. All right, we talked a little bit about the play-in. How about this, though? We know LeBron. We know AD have been around a million times.
Yep.
Darvin Ham has not. What are our expectations for him? It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. And if you are
Okay, thank you.
It is the plural of dysfunction.
All right.
So that is accurate.
Okay.
You pulled that one out of your rectum. But it worked.
I sure did.
Yeah. So anyway, and we can say the word rectum because it is a medical term.
It is proper terminology.
Yep.
It's Sedano and Cap, the LA Afternoon Takeover.
This afternoon at 4 p.m.
On 710 ESPN.
Mason and Ireland.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio. Mason.
It is Live Imaging Tuesday with Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN. What's on tap tonight for the playoffs presented by our friends at Michelob Ultra? Well, of course, we got the 7-8 matchups. In the East, the 8 seed, the Hawks, are visiting the 7 seed, the Heat. And, of course, at Crypto.com tonight, the 8 seed, the Timberwolves, visit our 7 seed. Los Angeles Lakers coverage begins here at 5:30 p.m. And thanks to Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. Michelob Ultra, it's only worth it if you enjoy it, please enjoy responsibly. And I have taken.
I'll take an Ultra right now.
I have taken to Ultras.
Don't come to me with that.
You don't like Ultras?
No, I like Ultras.
He likes them a lot.
I love them.
Yeah.
It's become my new thing.
Pickleball. I was. By the way, we should do a pickleball tournament right into the Mandy's too.
Show up all sweated up and ultraed up, and that's not a bad idea to do
I
it.
did some Ultra micheladas on Friday night.
Those are good.
I had 9 of them. But
it's a lot of tomato juice. I'm not so concerned about the beers. That's a lot of tomato
I love
juice.
that you gave up everything and then you made up for it all in one weekend.
Fast. I made up for it.
What was the thing that got? Was it the Ultras micheladas?
No, it was the tequila on Saturday, and bourbon on Sunday. And it's just time. It's time to go back.
You're going to have Lent. Chris's Lent is going to be every day but Easter.
Yeah.
It starts the Monday after Easter and ends at
I'm better
midnight
with
on
wine.
Saturday.
And
Are you going to have any Victorian sponge cake?
I don't want to get more hate if we mention Succession again. Travis and Sliwa continues right now.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Do you feel like we blew Succession for you, Slee?
Okay, so let me ask you guys this: how much preparation yesterday was? We're going to talk about it today.
I don't follow the question
because I don't remember. I didn't know you guys were going to give all the deets. I haven't watched anything, so I have no idea. And it's almost if people.
It was only other shows. It was only the other shows too.
Okay, so it's predominantly on the other shows.
It's honestly every show kind of talked about how we're not going to do today.
Well,
we might do tomorrow.
It's the
I don't know how it works. I don't know when you're supposed to do it.
It was one of the few times. It happens periodically, but it's the first time in a while, shall we say, and you're probably a better historian of this than I am. Not probably, you definitely are. The last time, like, an episode of TV itself was part of the zeitgeist the way that was on Sunday night, the way it was yesterday, where it was something that if you watched that show, you really wanted to talk about it with the other people that had watched the show. Whether it was, this is going way back, the ending of The Sopranos. I'm not a Game of Thrones person, but I know there was that one episode of Game of Thrones where everybody went nuts. The one
the Red Wedding.
Chopped up, Red Wedding, yeah.
What about Better Call Saul?
Better Call Saul,
Yeah.
right.
There's some moments,
ending
You guys waited like a week
Breaking
for
Bad.
that. You waited a while for
because
that
we
one.
were both behind.
I think it's.
Oh,
I think it's the idea that Succession is much bigger than most of the shows. There are shows that have this same thing where, like, if I'm watching, like, for The Last of Us, I texted my friends, and like, oh, did you watch it? Like, that show meant something to me and my friends, and that's why. But this is one on a large scale. A lot of people watch it, and so that's why I think it's like, and it took over Twitter. John Ireland was making the case yesterday. It's like, you can't be on social media and not see.
But
also,
it's impossible.
Your feed typically is like catered. So if you like Succession and have interacted with Succession media, you're gonna get Succession spoilers if you don't watch it on time. So again, you had 24 hours. You could watch it when it comes out, or you can watch it on Monday evening.
And one last thing is that what happened, Logan's death, was not a surprise.
Yes, it was going to happen.
It was going to happen at some point.
Just not when.
The name of the show
If you
is
didn't know
Succession,
already.
Yeah.
Right?
I have no idea.
We've already blown it, Taylor. If we're going to blow it, let's blow it big, right? Let's go in, jump
Just
in
a
with
reminder.
both
My
feet.
favorite thing is that
We
the
have
LA
real
Times
enemies.
They wrote a real obit.
They wrote a real obituary for Logan Roy, like titan of the media industry, whatever. It was pretty great. I like the LA Times for doing that.
That was clever. It was. I'd never seen that before, where they had a real obit for a fictional person. That's a little bit of a twist.
We should wait to talk about the results of tonight's game.
Full day,
right?
On Thursday.
Yeah, why not? Well, they may be playing again Thursday. I don't think they will.
They didn't even give screeners for this. So a lot of people who do like the shows and do podcasts about the reaction show didn't even get screeners for this show ahead of time. So you couldn't even do podcasts until it actually released.
Nope.
So the whole production was very uptight about this episode.
Not anymore. It's out there, and if you want to know, it's out there for you to know. All right.
Now you know.
The Lakers are in the 7th spot. They missed the 6th spot by 1 game, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked all season long about a game where the Lakers just kind of let it slip through their fingers because of a
handful of them.
I was going to say more than one. Mm-hmm. There's a good solid handful of games where there was a play or lack thereof at the end of the game that did not work. There was confusion at the end where they were supposed to foul or not foul or whatever. And because the season was so odd, I guess is the way to put it, where you got off to this terrible start where you had a player who everybody that even casually followed basketball knew was going to be traded at some point.
Sure.
You had the chase for LeBron breaking the all-time scoring record. You had Anthony Davis missing another huge chunk of time with another injury. You had LeBron James missing time with injuries. There's so much noise. The Lakers made a bunch of trades, right? There was so much noise from the very beginning of the season until yesterday, really, that we didn't spend a ton of time talking about, is Darvin Ham a good coach or not? I think everybody understands that he connects with his players. He's well-liked. You know, you've spent more time with him than I have. I've interacted with him 3 times, I want to say. I really like him as a guy. He's interesting. He's tough. He's compelling. He seems to care about his players. But when it comes to, hey, this is what we're running at the end of the game, we've seen some stuff go haywire. This is a totally different environment. This is his first time through it as the head coach of a team. He's been an assistant. He was a player, et cetera, et cetera. But as the head coach of a team, when it comes down to playoffs, one bad decision can win or lose you a series. One bad decision in a game against the Pelicans in January, whatever, you got another game coming up in 2 days, you got to deal with it. How do we feel about this? Because there have been some very shaky moments for him along the way that the reason they're in the play-in game is because of one game goes the other way. They're probably out of it. And there was more than one game where it's like, what the heck are they doing out there right now?
Hopefully, 82 games of a regular season also prepared him for this. Hopefully that he's gone through, and it's not like it's his first year in the NBA. No, he was an assistant for a long time, won an NBA championship as an assistant, was a player for a long time. But now these are going to be decisions are completely on his shoulders. End of the game, 2 minutes left to go, what you do, what you execute, that's your coach. Now, there's a couple variables in this. I will say that I think some of the issues that he had earlier in the season, and predominantly it was end of game. What are we doing? Are we running a play, or is Bron just going to dribble the ball? But Bron has done that in a lot of his career where Bron is dribbling the ball. It's isolation ball. It's the question of, do I let Bron do what he's done in the past, or I tell Bron, I'm using you actually as a decoy because I'm going to run a play here. The defense is not going to expect it.
Yep.
Or it's the foul when you're down 3 or when you're up 3 and the Lakers wouldn't do that. Luka hits a 3. There's situations like that. I think the biggest difference today than over the first part of the season, I think he actually now has a roster too where it jives. I think a lot of the times that the Lakers were having difficulty closing out games, I also don't think they had a roster that jived. I think over this stretch of these last 20 games, there's been less of, damn, Darvin, do something in this situation, or why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? Maybe some of that had to do with the roster construction because we know they're 18-8 in their final 26. But I agree with you. There's going to come moments, if it's not tonight, let's say the Lakers get through the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Lakers by a million.
Let's just say it's not a problem tonight, right? Like most people think. I think the spread's 8.5.
It is.
That's a huge spread.
It's a healthy number.
Okay, 8.5. Let's say now you're in the Memphis. Let's say you're against the Memphis Grizzlies, and it's critical late game situation. You're on the road. You got the Grizzlies crowd against you, and everyone's looking at Darvin Ham to help win the game based on the decision that he makes. Trav, I'm curious for that moment as well.
Yeah.
I'm curious for that moment as well.
We won't know until it's time for it. And it could be rotational things. It could be when you call a timeout, when you don't. Do you leave a guy in? Do you take a guy out? Who are your closing 5? Like the starting 5.
Who took the final shot?
Who took the final shot? Did you call? You got the ball. Did you call timeout, advance at the half court?
Sure.
Did you not? Did you just let it run? Like all of these things. And those are a little unfair for me because we decide whether or not it was a good decision based on whether or not the shot goes in. Who's the coach at San Jose? Dutcher?
Yeah, Brian Dutcher.
You would still want to absolutely kill that guy if they had those 2 timeouts and had got the rebound with 11 seconds left.
And Lamont Butler get a shot off.
Or just misses because he was frantic, right? He's frantic. Throw it up, miss. Game. Why did you call timeout? Well, he didn't call timeout. Lamont Butler did get a good shot. He did knock it down. It's like, that's why you let your guys play.
And then the stories come out post game of he's telling them, "You guys want to take the timeout or you don't."
You can't just let it be whether the shot goes in or not.
Yeah.
You got to kind of think: does he have control of the situation and what's happening?
Yeah.
Because that was a play that San Diego State had discussed for a long. Look, if we get the rebound, we're not calling timeout. Push, get it to Butler. Let's see what can happen. That was the plan. It was the right decision because the shot went in. It's the wrong decision if the shot goes out.
Yeah.
It's really hard to kind of in the moment make those determinations, but that's what he's going to get starting tonight.
But it's a good topic because it's something for us to kind of watch as the playoffs progress. Is Darvin Ham, is he excelling in these moments, or are there moments where we're saying, I don't understand why you made that decision?
Hey, did you see coming up next? It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
And it is Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that? Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it, I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
So, hey, did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set? Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
So, Taylor, I've already declared that it's important that I win a Mandy this upcoming Mandy season, which, by the way, coming up June 10th at Commerce Casino. What about for yourself?
I would like anybody on the show to win. I'd like to see that.
It's a very nice thing to say. But me the most.
Personally,
right?
I could see Taylor being completely okay if he does not win a Mandy's award. I could see him not losing sleep the following
Look, guys,
day.
we got to get something.
We do.
I think
you're
you
right
do the
about
best
that.
speech, Travis.
Me?
Yeah, I think you do a good
It's
speech.
because I like the sound of my voice more than the three of you guys. That I really like to revel in myself.
We got to get
probably
you
more.
up there. We got to find a way.
We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, guys. Did you see that 62% of American adults say that they need more forgiveness in their personal lives? So, Travis, do you consider yourself a forgiving person?
Not especially. If you have been a good friend to me for a long time, I could get over something that went badly. But if you betray me early in our relationship, that's it. That's it. Like if we have been together for a year, you're my best friend from high school, right? For instance, and you did something that I really disliked, I could get over that because we had 30 years of good relationships. But
the mailman?
No, it's like
somebody you once.
Like somebody you meet and a couple of weeks later you find out they told you something that's just patently not true or
not
duplicitous.
good.
It's
That's
like,
not good.
I'm done with that guy. Or girl. I'm done with that. So no, I don't really consider myself
that's fair.
particularly forgiving.
I think I lean more towards forgiving. And I think there's a lot of it is actually for yourself. I think holding grudges on people is actually not healthy for you. So if you let it go and you just kind of know, all right, I kind of know what that person is. Maybe you put up a little bit of a wall. Maybe there's a border there, whatever the case is. But if it's something stupid, I could get over it, no problem. If it's something like malicious and deep, okay, that's different. That's not a person that you want to connect with. But I find myself I tend more to be more forgiving.
Okay. Next up, guys. Did you see that the average person uses 100 rolls of toilet paper annually?
More.
So that's over 20,000 sheets. Sliwa, which way should toilet paper hang?
It's funny. I think when we first started doing the show, this came up.
It did.
And I had never... It was never like a top... I had never thought of it one way or the other.
Has your mind changed?
Okay. So I think for me, it's always under, not over, right? Over, it's coming. So for me, it's always under. That's what I think I answered before, and I think everybody's like, no, it's got to be over. It's the waterfall, whatever the term was. So I'm going to now even double down on under.
I think I like under, too.
Yeah, I'm under.
So the choices are the waterfall, like you talked, which is the over, or the mullet, which is the under.
I do a side.
Right? Or maybe just not even on the roll at all. You know, it's
just sitting on the back of the toilet.
Yeah.
By the way, that's not the end, because then you can just, kind of sit on your finger and go bzzz, and kind of spin it off. But the reason over is the better choice is because when sometimes, and not that I'm using this here as an example, although it is a perfect example, when it is done under, it sticks to itself, and as you spin it, you can't find the beginning of the roll. Mm-hmm. It keeps getting underneath, but if it's top and you spin it, it unspools itself a little bit, and then it's easy to grab. So that's why over is better than under.
There's a little frustration when that happens.
When you're spinning, it's like, where's the beginning of this thing?
Yeah, you're just like sitting there, and if you just hear noises in the, just battling the metal that's holding the toilet container.
Well, look, this is why these stupid questions like this, they do have a right answer if you actually stop and think about them, and over is the right answer.
Been very successful under. Very successful.
You can get it done, but
convincing argument.
It's less useful.
Next up, guys, did you see that studies found that men with uncommon first names were more likely to drop out of school and be lonely later in life? So, Travis, what's the funniest or most unusual name that you've heard of someone having?
Oh, boy. Funny or unusual?
I used to swim against a girl named Cheese.
Cheese?
That's
like
her name.
The
Her
dairy
name was
product?
literally Cheese on her birth certificate.
Spelled like that?
Her name is Cheese Perry.
Cheese? I
Yep.
didn't know any cheeses.
I think
She was a good swimmer.
That takes the cake.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen people's names with unusual spellings, like traditional names that have X's and Y's instead of
How do you feel
S's
about that,
and
Trav?
O's. It's not my favorite thing.
No?
Like, I kind of, look, my children have...
Michael, right? M-Y. That's not
unusual.
common.
It's atypical.
Yeah.
But my children have very typical names. I've got a Robert, a Michael, and a Kelly. These are, you could find lots of these throughout time. They're kind of all over the place. That's where we went. I'm trying to think if I don't really have any...
Think of some sport. Like, I always joke around, OG Anunoby. OG is his first name, is a very, very interesting
Bubba
first
Watson.
name. Bubba is a
OG
kind of
is just initials, right?
I don't know his full name. I just know OG
Taylor
Anunoby.
Swift's publicist's name is Tree Payne. Her name is Tree Payne.
Tree Rollins.
P-A-I-N-E or P-A-Y-N-E?
Last name is P-A-I-N-E, I think.
Okay.
What gets
Tree
me more...
Rollins was a badass, by the way. He would mess you up.
What gets me more is a name that doesn't really match like a person. Like sometimes you see, I use the name Barbara. Barbara seems like a name of somebody who's a lot, in my own head, it's like somebody who's a lot older. And then here's like a kid named Barbara. I'm like, okay, that doesn't.
I'm pretty sure Susan's the last Susan on the face of the earth. I don't think anybody's been named Susan since 1970.
No, Susan's.
Do you know any Susans that are in their 30s?
Susie's.
Yeah, it's a little different.
And they actually say, don't call me Susan. Call me Susie.
Yeah, I don't have any, Taylor. Sorry.
I went to school with a guy named Mackenzie. That was kind of unusual.
I have a cousin, Mackenzie.
Guy?
Mac. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he goes
Maybe
by
not
Mac.
so unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the only ones I could give.
All right, let's do
off ones.
Let's do one more really quick. Did you see that 44% of teachers in K-12 education said that they're very burned out at work? So, Sliwa, who's the craziest or most interesting teacher that you've ever had?
Had a teacher, it was a history teacher of ours, Mr. Bosworth. and he was so animated. This was in high school, okay? Animated. As in everything he taught, but it helped. Like, it made you pay attention to him. It wasn't just, hey, I'm reading something off a book. Hey,
what class did he teach?
History.
Everything
he did, it's like his arms are moving, his voice is. It's almost like he's in a weird way. It's almost like he's acting out whatever he's teaching.
Like Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society.
I'm not to that extent, but I liked it because it was, hey, I'm paying attention to this guy.
Awake.
It kept you awake. His voice would change based off of the volume of his voice. He acted when he taught, so that's one that stuck out. And actually, I really liked the style. The style made you more engaged.
I had a couple of really good teachers that I remember. How did you ask the question, though? Because I think
the craziest or most unusual.
Unusual is the path that I want to go here. Because there were a couple of teachers that I had that shortly after we graduated from high school ended up marrying one of my classmates. That's unusual. Like, and I'm not talking like 10 years later. I'm talking like 9 months, a year later. That happened.
Freaky.
I had another teacher that there were other they spent a lot of time together. Turned out it was true. So that was there was a lot of that going on at that time. So there was some stuff that you look back like, whoa, that's not how that's supposed to go. But yeah, one of my teachers ended up marrying a student. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the correct response.
Yeah, on that note, that's a little bit different than my animated teacher
I don't
that
have the
uses
same
hands.
thing, but like my one English teacher, my sophomore year of high school, her name is Mrs. McDaniel. Now she has a different name because I think she's since married, but she used to talk about how she loved the hairy men. She talked to us all the time. That was her taste in men, was hairy men. Or like, why did no one asked? This
that
is
just
not
came up organically.
Yeah, I was like, Miss McDaniel, like we don't need to know about your taste in men. So that's really fun.
That's aggressive. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to know that about my high school
I'm good.
teachers either. Yeah, look, it's better to just think that they go home to the special teacher pod. They don't have actual human lives.
They sleep at school.
And they just come back and teach math again the next day. Thinking about them as people is a totally different deal along the way. All right, the Mandy's date is out. It's coming up June 10th at Commerce Casino. We have some new Mandy's category suggestions from some listeners. And did Max Muncy have a night, or did Max Muncy get something fixed? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Mandy Awards. The second annual will happen Saturday, June 10th at the Commerce Casino in Commerce. Tickets go on sale 1 week from today, June 18th. So get ready. We're actually going to have a few pricing tiers this year.
Okay.
So if you want to get close.
Like VIP stuff?
Yeah, kind of. If you want to be even closer to Press the Flesh.
Hang out with you, Slee. You
Come
and
on
your
now.
tux. Sit
They
right next to
actually,
you.
part of the tickets include staying with you that Saturday night.
It depends. We'll see who wants it, and I'll make a decision.
For the right price.
You're just
That's
telling
right.
Susan. No, I know, but they bought the tickets. It's
Just
included.
Sleeping on the couch, you go down to make breakfast the next morning.
And, of course, voting will begin next Tuesday as well. So we're getting
Yes.
the categories together. And we're going to have all the ones from last year. But if you have a great category idea, I've seen some of them come in on Twitter. Use the hashtag Mandy Awards at ESPN Los Angeles. Give us your idea. Our boss, the great Amanda Brown, just told me that this year, instead of her doing the Pain in the Ass of the Year award, which is the afternoon show, she's going to give away her favorite host.
Her favorite host.
And that will be a dagger to many people's hearts.
Ooh.
Or not.
Ooh.
Shot in the heart.
Time to butter up Boss
I was
Amanda.
going to say, what kind of coffees does she like and everything else? I can go to work on that.
Well, Sliwa knows how to grease the pole. You know
Hey,
what I'm
man,
saying?
I brought you a croissant here just out of nowhere.
Sliwa knows how to find himself in the right rooms often. Like, hey, man, I got this idea for doing Lakers talk. That's how it all began. And then, boom!
That part is true. That part is true.
I believe you.
That part is true.
Yeah. So I could see Slee. You don't expect it with Slee.
7 years later.
A little bit you expected.
7 years later, he's stuck here doing a show with you.
I know. You didn't execute it correctly. You should have had additional moves after that.
Disagree.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we're on YouTube today. You can stream and watch the show. And want to give a shout out to my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Anaheim. Mike Rodriguez over there. He tells me the whole office likes to watch us on Tuesdays during their lunch hour.
Excellent.
So they helped me out on Friday afternoon. Good Friday afternoon. I spent over there at the dealership. And not even for my own car, but still, those guys love it. So be sure, at ESPN Los Angeles on YouTube. And by the way, you can also watch today's newest edition of the Blue Review with Corporate Greg and Clinton Yates, as I call it, the Clinton Yates Blue Review with Corporate
Featuring Greg Bergman.
He doesn't like it when I do it. He's like, hey, man, can we knock it off?
Is Yates dominating him?
No.
Okay.
Is Greg interviewing him? Or
Yates
that's
doesn't
done?
see the dominating. I think he likes to be dominated.
Just asking the question.
Travis and Sliwa continues right now.
I need to be more selective in my vocabulary when dealing with old Morales there, Slee.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think you just can't, throw it out there. You need to think about, okay, how could this go 100 different ways? Speaking of the Dodgers, last night they had a runaway. They won 9-1. It was lopsided, and Max Muncy had a night. Max Muncy had a 3-run home run early, which made kind of gave him a little bit of breathing room. Then he had the slam late, which broke it open 9-1. Here, they really need him to be an effective player if they're going to be as good as I hope that they will be.
It's a bit him and Taylor's coming into the season that we were talking specifically about those two guys.
No question. And I got to be honest, from what I've seen with Chris Taylor, his swing is way too big for what it is that he's trying to get done. He's swinging the bat like he's Aaron Judge. Dude, shorten up. You're not a 40 home run guy. Let's put the ball in play and not strike out as often as he does. So that's with him, I've kind of decided, okay, you're kind of going to get what you get with the strikeouts and everything else. Muncy, I think, is a very good hitter. Muncy had a dreadful season last year that you could kind of chalk up to the elbow injury he had at the very end of the year before that. Got off to a terrible start this year. I think he was 4 for 33, just really struggling.
Remember he started the season, was it 0 for 5 in opening day?
5 strikeouts.
5 strikeouts.
Not just 0 for 5.
Yeah.
It was 0 for 5 with 5 Ks. Last night he hits a pair of home runs, 3-run home run, grand slam, and he looked great, and he had a smile on his face afterwards and all these things. Here's my question. Did he figure something out? And because he pounds San Francisco, and he particularly pounds giant pitching in San Francisco, was this a guy having a really good night against a team that he's familiar with, against in a ballpark where he obviously sees the ball really well, or is this the beginning of him starting to figure something out? I'm really curious what happens after they're done with this Giants series, right? So they got the Giants right now, off day on Thursday, and then they got the Cubs for 3 over the weekend. I want to see what happens against the Cubs, because him pounding the Giants is kind of routine. Can he find a way to be Max Muncy against the other teams in Major League Baseball? And for a year plus, he hasn't been.
So there's an entire article this morning about his back step, how he's changing his swing. and that the back step is allowing him to basically focus on that and less on the mechanics, that the mental side of him at the plate has been what's supposedly hurting him. You can't have one good day and then think, I got it. He's batting still under 200, right? So I think that is the question. The question is, what do you do after you have a really good night? What do you do after you have 5 strikeouts in a game? The extreme one way or the other is probably not. What's the middle ground? And I think for the Dodgers, and I think for Max Muncy, I'm with you. If you feel a lot better about Max Muncy today because of what he did yesterday, all right, wouldn't it be nice that he has, nobody's saying you got to go hit 2 home runs and have 7 RBIs every game, but can you have a little bit more consistency at the plate? Can you be a little bit more of a threat at the plate? He hasn't been that, and he wasn't that last season. And this year when you lost so many of your bats, now look, you got some other guys that are stepping up, but we've used that term, luxury and a necessity. He is no longer, and I'm not telling you that he was a luxury in the past, but you had a lot of bats. He's a necessity now. So what are you when you're asked to deliver on a night-in, night-out basis?
Yeah, you don't have a former MVP in Cody Bellinger batting 8th or 9th. You don't have an all-star in A.J. Pollock batting 7th or 8th. You don't have
Trey Turner.
Trey Turner at the
Justin
top of the order.
Turner.
Justin Turner. All of these guys now, obviously Mookie is hot. Obviously Freddie Freeman never isn't hot. You've got a guy like Will Smith who looks really good through the early part of the season. After that, you've got questions. And the number one question that has to get figured out is Muncy. And he doesn't have to hit 285, but he can't hit 185 like he did a year ago or 190 or whatever the number was. You got to put the ball in play. You got to drive the ball a little bit, and you got to strike out less. And that's what he's been struggling with. The good news is, I do think, and you said it, and I wrote it down when you said it, one good day, baseball's so stupid, and this is why I like it so much. One good day can kind of get you going for a month or 2 or for a season. That so often, and I know you're not a golfer, but people that play golf out there, you can be struggling, slapping it all over. You feel like you can't get the ball in the air. You just nothing. And then you take one swing, you're like, that's all it was? It's just that? Really? And then everything's just flat. Just boom, boom, boom. Baseball hitters are the same thing. It's like they can't get, and then one little thing. You do your back foot differently. You do your right foot, whatever it is, and it's like, that's all it really was. And it has nothing to do with that. It's just you change one little thing, you start to hit the ball, your confidence goes up, you start to believe you're going to get hits, so therefore you get hits. That's the Bull Durham thing, right? The reason you're getting hits is because you wear women's underwear, then you are, right? It's the entire weird Bull Durham-ness of it all. If you believe it, it's true. If you both negative and positive. Can he take a positive experience last night, tonight, tomorrow night against the Giants and turn it into Max Muncy all over again? Because if he does, now all of a sudden Outman kind of lurking at the back half of that order. He looks great. All of a sudden Jason Hayward, who's playing pretty nicely through the early part of the season.
J.D. Martinez.
They become your luxury guys because Muncy is the guy that you can count on. But if he's not the guy you can count on, now I got to try Martinez there. Now I got to try Peralta there. Now I got to maybe move Outman up. He's going to get a different series of pitches. Maybe he goes the wrong direction. There's this batting order construction that if that number 4 guy isn't carrying his weight, it changes everything, and you got to start swapping guys out, and he needs to carry his weight.
Still very early, very, very early. But that right out the gate is already part of the issue that we're not sure about Muncy. Because I remember all offseason it was, well, he's just got to get healthy. There was, he had the lingering issue last season. Well, he started out the season batting under 200. And I don't know if it's going to, if he's going to be able to turn it around again. It's very, very early. So any kind of momentum that he can gain is big. But you're hoping to have the conversation we're having about Muncy with other players, not on Muncy. Muncy, you don't want Muncy to be the topic of conversation.
He needs to be a given.
Yeah.
He needs to be the guy.
Will Smith is a given.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be Freddie Freeman. It doesn't have to be Mookie Betts. But just be something similar to what, you could say what Justin Turner was over the years for the Dodgers.
You ready for my inner baseball dork for a second?
Sure. Yep.
So watching Dodger game last night, and Will Smith comes up, I want to say second or third inning, relatively early in the game. And Logan Webb's pitching for the Giants.
Yep.
And he strikes Will Smith out. He strikes him out with a really nasty slider that breaks out of the zone. 2 things. Number 1, Will Smith doesn't swing at pitches outside of the zone, and he did. And he took such a bad swing at it that it was glaring. he never takes bad swings. That's how good of a hitter he is, that he made one bad. Most of these guys, they take a bad swing per at bat, right?
Sure.
It's just the kind of the cost of doing business against major league pitchers. He took one bad swing, he kind of reached and flailed for a slider on the outer part, and it's like, wait, did I see that right? Did Will Smith make a bad swing? That's how good of a hitter that guy is. That one bad swing in one game, whatever it is, the 10th game of the season they had, 9th game, whatever it was, 11th, that it's like it jumps out at you because it happens so infrequently.
Yeah, he's and that's a perfect example of somebody that you just kind of chalk up. All right, I know he's going to be good. Don't worry about him.
Is he the
And
next
you're
big
leaning
like Dodger
towards
star?
Muncy.
No, because he's, and I don't mean this to be cruel, mean. It's just a fact of the matter. He is so devoid of personality that I don't think he can be what you're talking about.
Could he be an MVP at some point?
I don't think he's quite that good. He's an all-star, but to be an MVP, you got to be Mookie. You got to be Freddie Freeman. You got to be, Trey Turner.
Because
I
catchers
think.
just don't really become MVPs.
And not as often as some other places, but to do MVP, for better or for worse, is an offensive award, right? That you win the MVP because you hit 35 home runs or 45 home runs or you hit 350 or whatever it may be. He's not going to reach those numbers just because of his position and some other things. But he can be the number 3 hitter on the best team in the league. He can be that.
And the problem is, the number 3 hitter where Mookie and Freddie are on your team.
Right.
He's not the number 3 hitter in most of any of these lineups. It's simply because you have Mookie and Freddie on your team.
When should I go into full panic mode about Alex Vezina? Because I'm really close. He came in and put it. Okay, here's the thing. Alex Vezina last 2 years.
Did he load the bases yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
Alex Vezina, for the last 2 years for the Dodgers, when that gate swung open and number 51 came running out, you're like, all right. Yeah. He was gonna get somebody out.
Yeah.
And he was gonna battle, he's gonna compete, he wasn't gonna walk anybody, wasn't gonna give up a ton of hits. Like Vezina was a very calming presence. So far this season, Al?
No, he's not.
He's been bad.
Awful.
He's been bad. He comes in last night, first guy hit, second guy hit, third guy hit. It's like, wait, what is happening? They pitched him in a 9-1 game. That's not Alex Vezina territory.
No, they did it for him to try to gain some confidence, get a little bit of his stuff back.
And he gave up 3 now. He struck out a couple of guys, and then they brought in Almani to get out of the inning. But that was not okay, hey, look, that's how you wanted him to have that good inning that you're talking about, and it was not. It was 3 consecutive hits.
And that kind of goes to the bullpen as a whole. So I think right now, Dodgers put up 9 runs yesterday, so there was no worry in the game. But if May, who pitches today, if it's a 2-1 game in the 7th inning, your confidence level of that bullpen is a lot different than it's been over the years with the Dodgers.
There's 2 things you can't have with what's going on with the Dodgers right now that they do have. I'll tell you what they are when we come back next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Live Imaging Tuesday with Travis and Sliwa. On a Lakers play-in tournament Tuesday. Don't forget, coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. tonight with Slee, the Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off. You'll hear the play-by-play with Johnny I, John Ireland, and Michael Thompson starting at 7 p.m. That is what's on tap, presented by our friends at Ultra, as we get ready for the push to the playoffs. But it's not a must-win tonight, Slee.
Not a must-win, but 4 days off in between.
That would be nice.
Come on, play Memphis instead of Denver.
They're going to win by 1 million.
Let's get this thing over with.
I like it. By the way, we've also announced the date for the 710 Mandy Awards 2, and we've also asked for some ideas on new awards to give out, new voting items, because we'll start selling and voting next Tuesday. And we've had a lot of Twitter responses. A lot of people like the Best Whiff Award, which would be when you ask Coach McVay about the chunky soup.
I have no idea what that means.
Whatever it takes.
One more time, Jay.
I have no idea what that means.
One of the greatest moments ever in the station
Wasn't
history.
great.
Okay.
I mean, you can't bat 1,000.
Oh.
You got to take a few swings. Wasn't great. Look, if that gets me a Mandy, worth it 1,000 times over. If that's all it takes.
I think Coach will pass on coming on this show this season.
I still don't understand how come it was like so random.
He was in a
for
mood.
him.
Like sometimes when I walk in and Travis says, "Hey, Chris," and I just don't say anything because I'm in a bad mood.
That's like
and I'll give you a
80%
hug.
of
He
the
knew
time.
exactly what Trav meant.
He knew. You're right, Taylor. He knew exactly. He just wasn't feeling it.
Look, I'm kind of glad it went the way that it did.
He had
That
an
we got
X-ray
it.
of Stafford's back in front of him, and he just was not in the mood.
We got it. We got a moment. We got a bit out of it. All worth it. It's all good. And maybe a Mandy. We'll see.
That would be one way for you to win. I mean, we need ways to win.
Well, the part I like the best about it is that you actively root against me. That's
I don't.
my favorite part. No, you do.
I think he's going to be.
You absolutely do.
That's not nice.
But, no, what you
Nobody has
just said.
helped your career the last 20 years.
I didn't say that.
I mean, if we're going to get personal.
No, I didn't say that you haven't helped me. But when it comes to things like this, when it comes to what
Where's
you
my
just said to
10%
Al-
sleep? He pays other people 10%.
Not anymore. I mean, you deserve more of that 10%
be his
than
agent.
everybody else.
Nah.
I brought that up too.
Nah, that's a lot of calls.
I brought that up too.
I think he's going to be the favorite for Amanda's favorite. I think he would be the
I think
favorite.
John Ireland definitely feels he has that locked up for her favorite host of the year.
Could be.
I'm in the mix.
You're in the mix. It's Ireland, you. It's probably
That's a two-horse race. That's it.
I think so.
Well, that's it.
Hey,
It's
look,
gonna come down. It's a
50-50
coin
shot.
Crypto Ray put
It's
out
the best
that
odds I've had in a long time.
we should maybe do best food talk, and I think that we would obviously win that
I'd
one
win
because
that
it's our
by a
lane.
mile. Yeah, for
And
sure.
we're gonna
We'd
win
share
that
it.
one. Yeah, exactly.
Emily would yell at Mason and Ireland if they said anything about food.
Last week was so good. You missed that
dare.
last week.
I did
On
hear that
Tuesday.
it got a little
Yeah,
testy.
It got testy.
Yeah, I like it.
Mace
I like
did
it.
not like that bit.
Well, Emily decided to stick up for our show, which I deeply appreciate.
I gotta protect our territory.
Absolutely.
Listen, producer Emily, her bit is developing on the air, and it's going great. Okay, between what was the TV podcast you want to do?
She should do it.
I'm putting it out there. Maybe I'll do MTV.
How great is that?
That's a good name.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good.
That's a really good name.
And you got
should
the
do
big
Buy
MTV,
equipment.
but on the left of the M, there's the little apostrophe E.
The station just gets sued.
Do you do guests or do you just monologue?
Honestly,
I think the first one I'll probably do by myself.
I want to do the open for that.
Yeah,
it's
you could.
time for MTV.
And then
It's
it can
good.
do
That's
I
very
want
good.
my MTV is like my
Well, then we
little
will get sued, but that's okay. Not if we recreate it. Taylor can go in there and recreate a music
do
theme
his
for
own
us.
version of it.
Yeah.
They do it at the beginning. Oh, no. Never mind.
What?
I got confused. Never mind.
That's okay.
I self-edited.
That's fine. Travis and Sliwa continues right now.
Don't you get the sense, Al, that he roots against me a little bit?
No, not completely. Not completely. I think there's a percentage sometimes, but I think the other times it's just for the.
I think it's
for the game of it.
Mostly for the bit, but sometimes it's a little bit above and beyond that.
Sometimes it's from the soul.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes from the bit, other times from the heart.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I do think I have a chance for Boss Amanda's award. I think.
Yeah,
that-
I think you have a really good chance of that. Did you kiss ass better than anybody?
Yeah, it's my lane.
Better.
I'm pretty good.
Better than I've ever seen.
I'm pretty good at getting along with people. I am at work. Like there are other people that I don't get along with in the world, but in this building, I think that generally speaking, I get along with far more people than I don't.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Then
Personable.
There's one guy that kind of sneaks up on me every once in a while that drives me. And I'm not going to put him on blast.
Here at work?
Yes. Like all of a sudden, I'll be getting a cup of coffee and I turn around, and he's right there, and I'll turn around.
So I know who it
early.
is.
It's
I know who it is.
frequent.
Yep.
It's like whoa, like he's like a cat burglar. He's just there.
Oh, I think I
all
know
of a sudden.
It's me. I come up right behind you. What do you want to talk about today?
You're pretty quiet, but I get you. I don't know. There's I have Slee radar that
Why
I know
is
when
Slee
you're in the
breathing
building.
on my neck?
Is it DeAndre?
No, DeAndre and I have beef for another reasons, and DeAndre's not. DeAndre's not. I don't want you guys to keep guessing because eventually you're going to guess right, and then I'll be put in a weird position.
Did you guys see yesterday? I know Mason Ireland brought it up on their show, but he was wearing
Succession?
both a
Dodger and Angels. I did notice.
So, do you think that's a bad thing that DeAndre is a bad guy for doing that?
I asked him about it.
He's a baseball fan.
I told him
That's
he
what
should
says.
wear Giants pants. Just confuse everybody.
Padres socks and
Just
an A's
confuse-
underwear. Let me get all the California teams.
And then
in
a
there. Is that what
Buffalo
we're
Bills
doing?
tattoo.
Yeah, it's not for me. But look, you can be a Dodger and Angel fan if you want. When I went to the Angel game on Saturday night, I wore my Dodger hat. Michael wore his Mookie jersey.
AL, NL, you know.
Yeah.
I think he's more of an Angel fan. I think he was just rocking the Dodger gear. If I'm correct, I think he said he's never been to Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, he grew up in the desert, I want to say, and closer to Angel Stadium than he is. Probably closest to Petco, quite honestly, from where he is. But then you got to make that drive that nearly gave me an anxiety attack, and nobody needs that. Now, maybe when it's not 8 degrees out, it's a little bit different, but story for another day. Very quickly on the Dodgers. Julio Urias has slid into the role of ace as seamlessly as you could have hoped for. And I'm not talking about that he pitches really well, because he's been a good pitcher more or less from the moment he's been in the big leagues. And certainly for the last couple of years, he's been as good as anybody. It's not that, he's a good pitcher. But this is the first year where, by definition and by positioning, that the Dodgers have made it known this is our guy.
He's the leader of the rotation.
He's the leader of the rotation. He's the guy that has stopped a couple of losing streaks. Last night, look, it's 3 games. It's not 10 games, but Dodgers had lost 3 in a row to a team that you presume they are better than in the Arizona Diamondbacks. You're going up against a team.
They gave up 31 runs over 3 games.
They got bombed out. They pitched like you know what. And he takes the ball against your number 1 rival. And granted, the Giants aren't a very strong team this year.
Still, they're playing for something.
In San Francisco on a cold, wet, rainy sort of night. And he just goes out there and shoves.
Nothing.
And just like, here you go, guys. Just put 3 or 4 up there, and this thing is a wrap. And that's exactly what it was. He brings a level of calmness. He brings a level of security that they needed last night. And that was the thing that Clayton Kershaw had to carry for a decade and carried it incredibly well. That's the thing that Walker Buehler carried for a year or 2 and carried it very well. This is the first time they've asked him to do it, because Walker Buehler is hurt. Clayton Kershaw's at a stage of his career where occasionally he's going to have one that's not great. That's just life. Dustin May is still green and inexperienced. Sure. Tony Gonsolin is less green and less inexperienced, but still at the beginning of his career.
Sure.
Then you got a bunch of guys at the back that I don't know what it's going to be. And he's just like, dude, every 5th day, at least that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to give you a performance. It's incredibly reassuring to not only the guys in the lineup, but the other 4 guys in the rotation, that they don't have to be the ones to stop it every time.
If there's one thing so far this Dodger season that I'm least surprised about, it's Julio. And I think he's the one player that has been most consistent for the Dodgers over these last couple of years. And it didn't matter how you used him. We've talked about it, that maybe Julio is a little upset with the Dodgers because of how they've used him. Maybe he's going to allow himself to go to free agency. Yeah, I get the Scott Boras part, but maybe he just also is curious, hey, have the Dodgers respected me the way I should be respected?
What do you think the answer to that question is? Because
I don't think they have.
They haven't.
They haven't. But even the way you just set up of why he's the ace this year, it's almost by default rather than, bro, you're the guy. You've been doing it for X amount of years. We've asked you to come in out of the bullpen. We've asked you to not start a game. We've asked you to close. We've asked you. And every single time he has the ball, I feel a certain way. I'll tell you. I mean, I feel like the chances of the Dodgers winning a game, I think the way you set it up yesterday was perfect. Or the way you just set it up about yesterday is, here you are, you're not reeling, it's early in the season, but let's not make 3 games 4 and 4 games 5.
Against mediocre to bad teams.
You gave up 31 runs, your pitching gave up 31 runs, and then you handed the ball and it was like, all right, it's over. That's Julio. And I think to answer your question about have they been disrespectful, I think they have, but what he's doing is, to me, the least surprising of anything with the Dodgers. I think that's the one thing you could count on every single night, period.
I think that's a fair way to look at it. But until you have to do it, for me at least, there's always a little bit, okay, I think he could do it? Yeah, but until you ask him to do it, you're never entirely sure. And now that he's been able to do it,
but you're not surprised he's doing it.
No, I'm not, because he's that talented of a guy. I think what's really interesting is, does he go to market? Does he get to the end of the line? Because, like, knocking on wood here, hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully he pitches the way that we all expect him to, where he'll win somewhere between 12 and 20 games, right? That's just depending on good luck and everything else. But his ERA will be good. He'll strike out a bunch of guys. He won't walk very many, and he'll keep you in the game.
He'll be in the Cy Young conversation.
Probably. Yeah. And so that's the sort of pitcher he is. Can they put together a package that will make Scott Boras do something that he typically doesn't do, which is not take his player to free agency, to sign something before? Because, look, they're close, right? He's got to get through another 5 months, and then he becomes a free agent, and and it's his first time, and he's going to get paid.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
And he deserves to get paid. Now, maybe you could squeeze another 10 or 12 million, or maybe even a little bit more out of somebody else, the Phillies, the Cubs, whoever. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
And maybe the Dodgers won't, but do they go there? Do they do it? Do they just say, let's not even let him get there? Let's put something out there that he has to take right now, or is incredibly inclined to take right now, because they desperately need what he's bringing to this team. He is the de facto number one pitcher. Not even the de facto. He's the number one guy, and you're looking at the schedule saying, when does he go again?
Sure.
That's the first time he's been
You know who knows that? Scott Boras and Julio, right? But
but there is risk, Al.
I will tell you this. I will tell you this. I think if he wanted to get it done, I think it would have gotten done, or those conversations that we always hear through the, hey, guys, it's just a matter of time. I'm not too worried about it. It's going to take care of itself. I want to be a Los Angeles Dodger. I see myself rocking this jersey and this jersey only. Trav, I think we would have heard already that. So I think I'd be much more surprised that he doesn't go to market than if he does go to market. I think does go to market sounds like exactly where it's going, because don't you think some of these quotes over the course of the last 6-8 months would have been a little bit different?
Yes, I do. But a nice fat offer with everything else that comes along with being a Dodger is pretty difficult to say no to. If it's fair value, maybe even slightly beyond the best mark, not crazy like the Mets or the Padres might do, but making up numbers. Let's say he's going to make $35 million and the Dodgers offered $36, right? As a Dodger, as a popular Dodger in a city with Mexican Dodger fans, Mexican-American Dodger fans.
Competing every year, chance to win a World Series.
That's a really hard package to walk away from for a little extra.
Do you think, and I don't know how that works, do you think those conversations have already been had? Hey, here's our offer for him.
And they're probably, that's cute, try again. I think that's probably what it is. And we'll see. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, Factor Cap, Jerry is the queen.
I love that she left Roman hanging.
Yes.
Awesome. Love
It was
that.
a power move. You love power moves.
I do,
Jerry
and she
is queen of
executed it perfectly.
What about you?
Fact. She's a handsome lady.
I like Jerry.
I like Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry is the best. I think Jerry is my favorite character. I think that she definitely has blood on her hands, but as far as everyone goes, I think she's
the least despicable.
Yes. Maybe that's the best way to
I don't know. I think Tom.
That's a good compliment.
Tom?
I think Tom.
Tom is despicable.
Yeah, I'm with Emily on this
He's a bad guy.
Plus, he has a Pixel, Emily. Have I ever told you about my theory
Actually, he has a
about,
Samsung Galaxy.
about Apple TV or Apple phone devices?
What? Sorry, what?
That if you have an Apple, you can't be the bad guy. Have I ever explained that theory of mine to you?
That's crazy. It's so new. It's insane. It is actually a Samsung Galaxy, though, not
I'm a bad dude.
I just like to give whatever Slee has as the
I'm a bad dude.
poison pill.
All right, so Daniel Ricciardo was in a video for Red Bull Racing. He's a F1 driver. And one thing I did notice, he's a very handsome man. He's a very good-looking guy. But he is wearing black, tight, skinny jeans with rips in them. So, after a certain age, you should not wear ripped jeans. Travis, Factor Cap.
Fact. I'm the wrong person to ask fashion advice to, but
Because your jeans are ripped right now.
But just as a general rule, you need to dress age appropriately, right? That I'm not saying that you can't kind of push it a little bit, but if you're 50 wearing something that somebody 25 is wearing, that looks weird. It just does, and Ricardo falls into that category.
All right, Morales?
I mean, I'm not a ripped jeans guy, but I do know, and I'm surprised she hasn't run in here, our boss, Amanda, has sported ripped jeans, I think, recently.
But it's a woman, and
So
it's
it's a
different.
woman, it's different.
So I'm saying,
Women are
I'm
different.
sorry,
So
men
yeah,
after a certain
Definitely
age.
get away with
Women
stuff that
can
we can't.
pull off that stuff
Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah,
than
I
men.
would never wear tore jeans on purpose. Like, they sometimes have torn.
Sometimes they just tear.
Sometimes we have a faux pas. We got to get through the night.
All right, Al?
Couldn't be more fact. Like, there's certain things, probably shouldn't be at a club if you're 45 or 50 years old. Probably don't need to do that. Probably don't need the ripped jeans that
What
we're
if you get
talking
invited to
about.
the Pike House at San Diego State by current Pikes and you're 51? Should you show up for that?
Yes.
I
That
really
one is a
regret
little
that.
bit different.
What if you're Cappy and you're trying to keep your relationship healthy? I think the last time I've been with a club was last summer with Cappy in San Diego.
I go fact
All right,
on that.
Taylor?
I'm Cap, but it's person by person on this. If you can pull it off, then keep rocking it. But I don't know.
Who determines whether it can get pulled off?
Well, like,
'Cause
if
that
Taylor came in in
person-
torn jeans, I'd be like, all right, that's cool.
That's fine for him.
If Travis did, I'd be like, whoa, what's going
Everything
on?
okay, Trav? Everything okay at all?
Go back to Kirkland and get another pair of jeans, homeboy.
Well, because
It's
Taylor's
got to
old
be
baby,
the person, the person who's rocking them. If they feel more confident in the world, that part's important. I just don't know how you do
Right,
that.
like if Keith Richards had ripped jeans on, I mean, he's like 95 years old, but it doesn't matter. He's Keith Richards.
They still have the performance fleece over there at Old Navy. I used to love those in high
They
school.
do good T-shirts too, very soft.
All right, so there's been this song that has been stuck in my head for probably a week because it's been featured on TikTok a lot, and it's "Linger" by the Cranberries.
Oh.
It's this song,
Yeah,
and it's been stuck in my head all week. I really like this song in general, but it gets really stuck. So there are
Sing it, Slee.
there are very clear
words.
earworms that always get stuck in your head. Morales, Factor Cap.
You have to let it. This song used to be used on something in the 90s. It was always in my head.
Dawson's Creek, perhaps?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
It feels Dawson's Creeky.
Yeah, there's another one on TikTok that's really bothering me too. That's always playing, and like everybody uses the filter and the effect. So what was the question again?
You have earworm songs that always get stuck in your head
Absolutely,
throughout your
fact.
entire life.
Yes, fact. Like the Beauty and the Beast theme. Sometimes I just randomly sing it in the shower.
All right, Al.
Cap on this one. I get songs that for a very brief moment, in that moment, right? So you're on
Like
you're
the
on
theme song to
TikTok.
Winning Time.
Theme song to Winning Time. You're on TikTok. At that moment, it's like, oh, that song's in my head. An hour goes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes goes by, it's gone.
Trev?
Yeah, for sure. Because this one song in particular was popular when I was a kid. It still shows up in TV shows, in commercials. It's in a movie that Chris and I enjoy a great deal. Jesse's Girl from Rick Springfield is one of those that just you hear it,
just stays
in
in there.
It runs in your head the rest of the day. And there's only like 2 choruses of the whole thing.
Come on,
you know
Todd.
all the lyrics.
What are we doing, man?
Just relax, man. Yeah, so Jesse's Girl for me, if I hear it, even just a dum 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 dum,
Oh, yeah.
it's over and we're on from there.
Taylor?
Fact, yeah. I'll get like Christmas songs stuck in my head in July at random times, and then a lot of church songs just because I grew up in the church and it's just stuck in there. Can't get it out.
Totally. All right, so I don't know why there's so many F1 things today, but I have another F1 thing. So Charles Leclerc is a F1 driver, and he had a post on Instagram saying that for the past few months, people have been coming to his home address and asking for pictures, ringing his doorbell, kind of being a nuisance because for some reason his...
Doesn't he live in Monaco?
Yes, but his private address was leaked, and so people are, again, he's an international star, so people are going to go and see him. So, you have ever ding-dong ditched. Alan, Dr. Cap.
I have in high school like an idiot. I think we've all done it. Fact for me, I think we've done something stupid like that. You're doing it predominantly to people that you know. Do it to a friend. Do it to a cousin, something along those lines. I have done it, and they look at me like, what are you doing?
Can't do it anymore because of the ring.
I didn't even. Yeah, that's right. I don't think I got even. I don't think I turned the corner and they opened the door. I'm like, Al, what are you doing? We saw you.
Were you a toilet paper guy?
No.
You didn't TP?
Have done it, but it wasn't. No, I'd say no.
That still exists, by the way.
All right,
Oh,
Jeff?
Does it really?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. But what Chris said...
Travis is taking the TP and putting it in the house to be used.
Well, okay, so funny you bring that up.
The one hanging on the tree
No, hold
that
on.
was not touched, he's using
Since you
still.
brought it up, I'll tell the story. We got hit, this was probably a few months ago, right? And they got us pretty good, too. The other thing they do now is they stick, like, plastic forks in your lawn, and you got to go through... You knew
That's a thing?
Okay. Yes, apparently. So they got us pretty good. On the roof, over the cars, over the trees, everything else. But they must have been scared away by something because they left half of a package of unused paper by the front door. Absolutely, I jumped on that. You kidding me? It's sitting right there. Of course I'm going to take it.
So it
Did you
turned
let
out...
it? Did you let it like you let the other toilet paper dry if it was at night and it was a little dewy? Let it dry and then he waits till 6 p.m. at night and he starts taking them off.
You lay it out in the backyard over the table so it dries out nice. Yeah, of course I've done that.
Ross?
For sure.
Fact, my mother was a big prankster when I was growing up, and I was uncomfortable, like, as a young person to, like, do these things.
So she'd
But
drive you around?
She would drive me around with, like, a group of older children that lived in the neighborhood, and she would get me out there trying to prank ding-dong ditch, toilet paper. It's bad. We didn't have forking back then, though.
Yeah, forking's relatively
I don't get the
new.
point.
I don't either.
To screw up the grass?
No, it's just it's one more thing you have to pick up, I think, and bend over to pick it up.
Oh.
And they're kind of deep down. You have to actually kind of pull them out a little bit. It's a pain in the neck.
All right, Taylor?
Fact, yeah, I've done this. I'm from a small town. There's nothing else to really do. But one time, my friends, they so I had to walk in. There were 2 doors, so there's like a porch area. So I had to walk into the second door to knock on it. So they held the door after I knocked on it and waited a second, and then the person comes out, and then they let me go and stuff.
Oh, they were trapped inside
so
the
I was
porch?
trapped for a little. Yeah, good friends.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right, so a mom in Dallas, she posted that she a video surprising her daughter at school, picking her up because they were going to go to a Taylor Swift concert. So they let her out of school early to go to Taylor Swift because it was going to be a fun day, and it was like her and her 3 best friends were all coming too. So it was a really sweet video. So it's okay to let your kids skip school for something fun, not just for an appointment or because you did like a baseball game, but for something fun. Taylor, Patrick Up.
I think fact, yeah, as long as it's not, in moderation, it's good. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with this.
Trev?
So for Michael's 13th birthday, I took him out of school. He had no idea I was coming to get him. He comes into the office. He's like, what's going on? And then he and I drove to the airport, flew to Vegas to see the Knights and the Anaheim Ducks for his 13th birthday. And he's a huge Anaheim Ducks fan. And it was something we still talk about to this day. He's almost 18 now. And so, yeah, if you can create a moment like that Taylor Swift concert or something like that, absolutely seize the moment.
Morales?
Sure, why not? Fact. I mean, I don't want to be the negative one. I mean, I would keep. I mean,
education is important,
well,
Christopher.
Michael's got to figure out the world on his own. He's got to get out there and press the flesh. So why not miss a day of school?
I'll tell you about when he saw Showgirls on the Strip. That was interesting.
The movie or the actual Showgirls?
The actual
Showgirls. It's a good story.
Dad, is that okay? It's Vegas, buddy. It's all okay. You can do whatever you want here. We're good.
All right, Alan?
Fact, my sister did it a week and a half ago 2 weeks ago, went to Disneyland. She took the kids out, and that's a perfect time to do it, a perfect excuse to do it. If you're just taking them out and there's nothing, like you're not taking advantage of the day, that's the way you do it. Do something, do a special event. I think it's fun.
Was she part of the decision to not reach out to me when you were 5 minutes from my house? That was actually 12 minutes from my house.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
We talked about it a couple different times in front of Splash Mountain, and then we decided it's too late.
Okay.
It's too late.
I got one more for you guys. So there's this group. This is an Instagram group that's kind of trying to set up, singles in Los Angeles, and so they have these speed dating things that they try to set up. So I thought about it, but consider yourself a single man. You would do speed dating. Travis, Federic Cap.
Yeah, fact. Why not? I mean, if you're looking for a connection, if you're looking for a relationship, if you're looking to get to meet somebody, I don't think there's a bad way to do it, right? Whether it's an app, whether it's a setup, whether it's whatever it might be, speed dating, it's probably awkward at first where you get 5 minutes with somebody before you move on to the next one. But yeah, if I was looking for a relationship, there's no wrong way to do that.
Morales?
What does it mean? Like what? You sit
I think
down?
you go to a room where it's like 30 men, 30 women, and you spend 5 minutes
Yeah,
with
it's-
each person.
Do you have masks on or no? Or is that a different party?
That's a different type of party.
And you have like a little, I think they have like a bell or something.
I think you
That's
could
when
do
you-
one
That's
with that. I
invitation
think
only.
that party.
That's invitation only.
Because LZ took us to one of those once.
Yeah, well, that's enough.
I don't like dating in general, but sure, why not? If you're going to do it quickly. Fact.
Figure out if I hate your guts in 5 minutes or not.
I usually know in 30 seconds.
Fact, but you got to walk in it with literally zero expectations. It's almost got to be kind of a joke type of thing, right? If you're going in, anybody's taking that too serious, like, I think I'm going to find her. I think this is going to be the one. Don't do that. I would try it. I think it's interesting, but don't take it seriously.
Taylor?
Hell no. This feels so artificial and contrived. I don't want anything to do with that. I'm more of a slow burn anyway, Don't make a good first impression.
What's the
Well,
what's the
know about
latest
that,
with Alt Girl?
Alt Girl? We still talk, but it's
Have you seen her since
Dying
she
down
bought
a
the
little
book?
bit.
I haven't seen her, no.
Okay.
It's been a minute.
Taylor, they're like, all right, next date.
Slow burn.
5 minutes goes. He's
Slow
like,
burn.
I'm staying.
Yeah.
I like this one.
I like
2
to-
years later.
I wonder if there's a moment like you spend 5 minutes. You want to get out of here and go get a cup of coffee or whatever it is. Like, do you just punt on the other 30 people in the room? Is that an option?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't
Did you
looked
sign
that
up or
deep
no?
in- No, I haven't looked
You get
that deep in.
suspended from that.
You're banned. You're banned from speed dating the rest of the way. Cliff Kingsbury get a new Gotson. Wow.
Whoa.
Cliff Kingsbury has a new job, and it doesn't make any sense to me at all. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The biggest show.
playing water polo, I'd have no chance in the water.
I had no chance either, but it keeps you in shape. Back then, I was in shape. Now I don't. Actually, if I could take up a sport now that I could just practice.
Did you not want to play in the games? Because if you're doing
I wasn't good enough to play in the games.
But it's high school. Everybody gets to play.
We had a really good water polo team, I think.
Yeah, but aren't there big leads or big deficits?
They were ranked 38th.
Like, you get in the game eventually. I was a terrible high school basketball player. I got in the games.
And also the idea of getting in the games, too.
I wouldn't let me in
at
a water
risk
polo
if
game.
you're in a real game of, potentially drowning.
Our coaches weren't like that because I remember the kids on the basketball team that weren't good. They never played.
Never?
Never. They played in practice, but they never played.
Not very good, but I got some minutes here and there. Not many, but
It's
some.
good size.
Yeah, I got 5 fouls to go.
Did you play golf in high school?
No.
Oh.
I didn't start playing golf till college, really.
Really?
Yeah. And that's because I sucked at baseball and need something else to do to take my mind off of getting lit up by Phil Nevin every other season.
You're going to get lit up by somebody. It's not bad.
Oh,
to
yeah.
Get lit
I mean,
up by
he's just
Phil
dropping
Nevin.
a Phil Nevin, you know.
Well, he got me in high school and college and every summer league and everywhere else that we ran into each other.
Every time you saw him, he just points at you like this.
I was the get right guy for him. Oh, thank God that guy's back. That guy from Arcadia's pitching again.
Muncy's looking at the schedule. When do we play the Giants?
Nevin's looking. When is Arcadia High coming up again? When do the Gauchos come to town? I can get healthy.
What other sports did you play?
In high school?
Yeah.
Just basketball and baseball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never got in the pool.
No. No. There was the two things. It was the Speedo was a deal breaker just from the jump.
I know.
Just not my thing. Then they had those weird jackets, those long jackets that they all wore. I never liked that jacket either. I'm about the uniform, Chris.
I could have seen you.
I played football my freshman year.
Really?
Yeah.
What position?
Tight end.
I could have seen you being on the wrestling team. I could have seen Trav in the wrestling getup with that weird helmet.
The water polo helmet that you wear on the mat. Yeah.
Hey, man, let's get on the mat.
By the way, wrestling guys, that's a whole different world.
You don't want to mess with wrestling guys.
No. That's a whole different world.
Never. They're the
and it doesn't even matter if you have 50 pounds on them.
No,
It
they know
means
how to
nothing.
wrestle. They know how to flip you on your back. And
let's get you to the mat, bro.
How did you dislocate my shoulder in 3.4 seconds?
Never.
That's a wrestler.
Oh, speaking of which, a girl, when we were playing kickball this weekend, she caught a ball, dislocated her finger, came out of the game, came right back in, and we were like, you don't want to take a break.
Did
this
she
is recreational
jam it back
kickball.
in the plate in place?
Oh my God!
Tape it up, or she just didn't tape it up?
That's supposed to be Kobe, that famous Kobe Gary Vitti, where he pops it back in. This girl's doing it in kickball.
I want to go out and see the kickball games. Where are they?
I don't want to give up my location.
Oh, okay, sorry.
She's
I'm gonna be like Charlotte
Claire.
All right, Travis and Sliwa continues right now.
Thank you, Chris. What did you play in high school, Slee?
Just basketball.
Just basketball?
Yeah.
No track.
I needed your
soccer?
size. How tall are you?
6'3"?
3? Yeah, I needed 6'3".
According to Chris, I'm 6'6", but that's a whole other topic for another day.
Do not start. There's actually a great picture I was going to send you in which I'm standing next to somebody who's 5'11", and I'm over them to prove my point. Now, I might have had the boots on in that picture.
What's the
but
point?
That's only that's a quarter inch.
That you're taller than you say, or that he's taller
when we were
than
all
he
doing
says?
the morning show together, Key is like 6'4". I'm 6'3". LZ is about the same height as
6'3",
me.
6'2".
6'2", 6'3". And Chris was always saying, I feel short around you guys.
Yeah.
Because we're all taller than your average person.
Yeah.
And I asked him at one point, I said, how tall are you?
And I said 6
And
foot.
he said 6 feet, and that's just not true.
It's been the thing forever. Forever, his bet. He's a tallest.
I'm a height bully.
Yeah, he's a height bully.
Yes.
What happens? Was that before the Starbucks situation all started?
It was
going
all
down,
part of
or
the same.
after?
It was all part of the same.
Yeah. We take turns.
And I love
making
how he's
each other feel bad.
I love how he's looping himself in with Keyshawn, who's a former NFL player, and LZ, who LZ without his shirt off looks like a beautiful
underwear model.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not looping myself in. We did the show together and we were all tall. I'm not saying I'm fit like LZ.
Have you been measured, Morales?
Yes. I didn't just come up with 6 foot.
I don't know about that.
The doctor told you that?
Anytime you want to measure, we can do a measure. We'll do a measurement in here.
When you go to a doctor and they're like, "Hey, can you step on the scale?" I'm like, "No, I already got 165."
Oh, I never do that.
You had the boots
How
on.
tall?
That little thing they put on your head in school.
Can we see how tall you are? I got you 6'1". Let's go. Let's keep it moving.
That is one of my favorite bits.
You're gutless.
I know that's one of your favorite bits. That's how it goes. So just basketball, Slee?
Just basketball.
Get some minutes?
I thought there'd be like some soccer
Not enough.
in your background.
No, I never played soccer.
Track.
No.
Ping pong.
Oh, yeah, ping pong.
Did you have a ping pong team at Granite Hills?
No.
No, we had one in Arcadia.
No way. You guys really did?
Uh-huh. And badminton, too.
Yeah, we definitely did not have ping pong.
Yeah.
I feel like I could have made the ping pong team.
You would have been all league.
Well, I was at a rec center for 6 hours a day.
Yeah, you did get some time.
And that's even before before I started working there, I was always at the rec center. That's so funny. You guys had a ping pong team.
Yeah, we had a lot of weird stuff going on. Big school too. Like it was 3 grades when I was there, and like 3,000 kids. There was like 1,000 person in each graduating class. It was a big high school, and then we had a ping pong team. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I know we had a badminton team. I feel like there was a lot of ping pong tables out at lunch that guys were working on.
I think I've told you this at State. You got to, and I think this is not uncommon. You take a bowling class that counted as a unit.
Yeah.
Did you guys have one of those?
You needed to have like basically a PE credit.
You had to have something.
Yeah, but
bowling was mine.
Yeah, that's a perfect one. Bowling, pool, darts. Those are the ones that you can do.
Can get a unit for this.
I'm not doing track. Hey, go give me a 3-mile cross country run. No, I'll just go bowl for an hour.
Literally bowled for
smoke a joint and drink some
2
beers.
games, and then it was over.
That's how it is. Cliff Kingsbury has been hired as an offensive consultant.
Yep.
For USC. Cliff Kingsbury, former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, former head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders, former offensive coordinator at Texas A&M, and other places along the way. He was briefly the offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach for SC for about 5 minutes before he got after Texas Tech, before he got hired by the Arizona Cardinals. Here's my question. It's kind of a two-parter, and we can talk about this now and on the other side. Why is SC hiring offensive people? They scored 40 points a game. They have the reigning Heisman Trophy winner and presumptive #1 pick in the draft coming back. Your offense was lights out. It was really, really good. Your defense prevented you from going to the Final Four, prevented you from winning your bowl game, and prevented you from beating Utah in either time that you played them. That seems to be, and by the way, not just at SC, but Lincoln Riley historically, defense has been the weak link on his very, very good college football teams. Secondarily, somebody explained this one to me. Cliff Kingsbury's lifetime record at Texas Tech as the head coach was 35-40. Patrick Mahomes played there. Mm-hmm. He's pretty good. 35-40, under 500. His lifetime record as a head coach in the NFL, 28-37-1, under 500. Why have we decided that this is somebody that's offensive acumen has to be a part of the USC Trojans when they already have a lights-out offense and a suspect defense?
Because he's good-looking.
He is good-looking.
I don't have a problem with him going from gets fired as the coach of the Cardinals. Okay, sounds good. They underperformed. It looks like there's issues through and through. I don't have a problem with that. And I don't have a problem with him going back to college. I think that makes sense, right?
Sure.
All right, maybe he stepped into the league too soon. Go back, work on your craft. Maybe there's an opportunity down the road. The SC portion is the part that I can't figure out as well. If the only thing we're talking about USC, every single time we mention them is, you guys get a couple stops? Can you just not have to put up 45 points a game to win a game? Is there a scenario out there? And listen, they turned the program around like that. Give them all the credit in the world. They really did. But the same problem that they were having in Oklahoma is the same problem that SC's having right now. I don't really understand the strategy. I wish every resource that they had was going towards working on their defense, best defensive corner, best defense coaches, whatever it is. I'm with you. I really don't get it. Now, maybe from what I understand, so Kingsbury had signed a 6-year extension that runs through 2027 with the Cardinals.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is, hey, he's already getting paid all the money in the world from the Arizona Cardinals. SC could just kind of get him at cheap. I don't have that answer. But maybe it's that. But the attention that goes there, it's like, yeah, you don't need any more attention on the offense. It needs to be on the defense.
Him working again is not my issue. My issue is, why have we decided that he's a great offensive coach? Where's the evidence? Where is his team that was lighting everybody up year after year after year offensively? It didn't exist in the NFL. Didn't exist in college football. I don't understand it. Like, if you said to me, if Lincoln Riley jumped to the NFL, right, and all of a sudden it didn't work and he comes back, there's mountains of evidence that he knows how to coach offensive football.
Sure.
Mountains of it,
Sure.
right? Put him
Sure.
back in charge of your offense and let the thing cook. But Cliff Kingsbury is far more famous than he is accomplished. His track record is not particularly impressive. And that SC, of all the teams, like, you got this unbelievable car that goes 1,000 miles an hour and you decide to soup up the engine as opposed to putting some brakes on it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what are we doing here? Emily, you have a theory as to why he's here.
I do have a theory, and we can do it on the other side.
Okay. Emily's theory, you're going to like this, Lee, because ultimately it will put a smile on your face. It's a terrible idea that you will like. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Sport.
A live imaging Tuesday with Travis and Sliwa. What's on tap for the NBA playoffs? Made possible by our friends at Ultra. Tonight, the 7-8 matchups in the East. The 8 seed, the Hawks, visit Miami, where Shadano washed up on the shore years ago against the 7 seed, the Heat. And, of course, in the West, the T-Wolves and the Lakers. Coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. tonight. The Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. Michelob Ultra, it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Please enjoy responsibly. I love Ultra. We were talking about it earlier. I love it. On the course,
not as much as Slee does.
I just want to, every time you say the Michelob Ultra, I just want to hear the cracking of a beer.
Yeah.
Just pop. Just pop. Listen, during the pickleball, it was the best. When we started playing, it was like, all right, we're both kind of trying to, it's the first time we ever played with each other. And then by the time a couple ultras in, it was Agassi and Sampras out there. We were just, both of us were just amazing.
We did work. There it is. There's
that's nice.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
We did all right. I'm looking forward to Pickleball 2. Mandy's 2 coming up June 10th. Pickleball 2 TBD.
2 Mandys, 2 Furious.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I like that.
I'm telling you, June 10th, noon should be the pickleball tournament. We'll all shower at your place.
Well, so
Then we'll all go right over.
everybody got annoyed last year that we had an all-day remote at Montebello at the Quiet Cannon, and then everybody had to figure out how to get to an award show that night. So we said, okay, we're going to try it on Saturday. Okay, it didn't. The Friday night didn't stop 1,200 fans from coming, but it really affected Travis and Sedano, and it was like, all right, so we'll move it to Saturday.
You are just
You're
now
gutless, Travis.
making stuff up out of thin air.
I mean, are you really complaining about this?
There wasn't one moment about that thing that I did, other than going home without an award, that I didn't enjoy. It's the Friday.
So we'll see.
We had a shorter show. We had a 2-hour show. We had a crossover. Everything was wonderful.
Did you drive home in complete silence because you didn't win anything? Like Susan tried talking to you.
Susan, don't look at me.
And you said, not now. Because Lady Slee basically, because we stayed there, Lady Slee basically said, hey, winners only on the bed, and I slept on the floor.
So I made an agreement.
I don't know why that's so funny, but it really is.
I said, okay.
I had a couple of buddies that came with me.
I had to look up at her. Good night.
G-Fish and Darb came with me, as did Susan.
Susan!
No, it was Brian and Darb. It was Brian and Darb. And Brian and Darb and myself had a really good time at the Mandy's. So Susan was the driver home, but the rule is I have to stay awake when she's driving. So it was not a drive in silence. No.
Did she drive really quickly like you drive when I'm in the passenger seat?
She's like Charles Leclerc. That's the third Charles Leclerc.
Wow, look at that.
Ding, ding, ding.
She drives like a bat out of hell. She
Really?
drives fast, yes.
All right.
Yes.
Susan. By the way, in 1 week from today, we will also put on tickets on sale for Mandy Awards 2, and voting will begin. If you got a good category idea, at ESPN Los Angeles on Twitter, use the hashtag Mandy Awards as we get closer and closer. I really hope you guys don't win.
I know you
I just want the bit to continue. I want producer Emily or Taylor to win.
Look,
That's
Slee and I are taking ownership of that. Whether our name is on it or not, the show will have won an award at that point.
Here's what part of this will come down to. Last year, we were very too cool for school. Well, we pushed for Ask Slee.
We did.
Ask Slee, we pushed.
Yes.
And we lost.
We did.
I think we get a little more aggressive this year.
Well, speaking of G-Fish, I think he sent me a DM, or maybe it was a tweet, that this year, because we're changing the voting, so you won't be able to just vote unlimited like last year. You'll have to register to vote in order to vote. Now, I guess Mason might
even things out.
Mason might create 1,000 different Gmail addresses, but that's a lot of effort.
Mason1 at gmail.com.
Yeah, he'll hire one of the bots to just continue to do it.
I don't think you can do a bot to do that. Can
No?
you?
I honestly don't know.
I don't know. So ask him during Super Crosstalk. Coming up in about 15 minutes. Travis and Sliwa continues your Tuesday right now.
Thank you, Chris. So Emily said
With
she
all
had,
this
she had a
Chat
theory.
GPT thing, I think we could figure something out.
Yeah,
Get those
Chat
bots.
GPT, make me 10 billion Gmail addresses, and I'll vote for Trav and Slee. Done in 30 seconds.
We screw it up. It actually voted for Sedano and Cap again. We lose again.
Well, what are you going to do? Emily has a theory as to why Cliff Kingsbury is here in Los Angeles specifically.
Okay,
Emily,
interesting.
And I think that ultimately you're going to like this.
So do we have conspiracy theory music? Yeah, okay. So we know Cliff's out of a job. He went to Thailand for a bit. He said, I'm not interested in coaching. He had about a one-way ticket to Thailand to spend his time how one does when you're as attractive as he is. But when he came back, he chose to settle in Los Angeles and to get a job that he once had before for, 4 days or whatever, similar job to this. I'm thinking that he's staying in the area. He's being involved, maybe in case a coaching position opens up in Los Angeles, maybe the Chargers. And wouldn't it be the most Charger thing in the world to hire someone like Cliff Kingsbury, because it's a sexy name per se that has no real results?
No.
If you go straight to offense after you've had someone like Brandon Staley who's straight defense, I think it's a very Charger thing to do. Cliff Kingsbury staying in the news, staying in the LA ether, to be there if Chargers open up.
No, the most Charger thing to do is keep Brandon Staley and not go get Sean Payton, who wants to come to your franchise. That is the most Charger thing to do.
Well, but you're missing the second part of it. Your part is the first part. Her part is the second part. You have to put them both together to come up with the most Charger part. They've already executed the first part. Hey, is this guy a proven winner? Yes. Does he have a track record of taking a good quarterback and making them a great one?
A Hall of Famer?
Yes. Does our coach stink? Yes. Leave him here. Let him go to Denver. Hey, is there another coach that has a history of taking a highly rated quarterback and not developing at all? Yeah, we got one right here. Does he have a losing record? Yes. Hire that man.
Because he'll be good in ads. He'll be good on the pamphlet when you go to the Charger Stadium that you see Cliff Kingsbury there, and it's very Chargers.
And Dean is walking away. I'm a genius.
He's like, look what I just did.
Genius.
It's like a knockoff McVay. So you're like, oh, we want McVay, who's also a good-looking man who's young, and so we're going to get Cliff Kingsbury.
All true. But this is one of these things that I understand that people make really bad decisions all the time. We all do. We all make bad decisions with just bad information and all of these things. Is there really a group of people out there that think that Sean McVay's success because he was handsome is if we hire another handsome person that they too will have success? Is there really somebody that thinks that adds up?
No, but I will tell you, I think what there's definitely out there is, hey, look how marketable he is. Hey, look how...
But he's marketable because they went to the Super Bowl twice.
No, I know.
Not because he's handsome.
100%. But they're thinking he's the most popular person on that team. He's
True.
this. Look what he did to the brand. And they forget the piece of he won't stop winning.
He could look like Steve Buscemi, and he would still be the most marketable coach in the league with all of the winning. Andy Reid is pretty darn marketable.
Belichick.
Bill Belichick is, he's a pretty popular guy.
People make stupid decisions.
Hey, who's handsome? Go hire Ryan Gosling. Go hire George Clooney to be the
Might as well.
Why not?
If it's Denzel Washington. He was a coach in a movie.
Denzel coached football in fictional land, and he's handsome. Let's put him on the sidelines.
That's his resume.
Right.
It shows that in a movie
Number
he
one,
was
handsome. Number two, played
14-0 in a movie.
Wasn't McConaughey a coach in We Are Marshall?
Yeah, We Are Marshall.
Yeah,
Handsome and has a football,
Lives in
a
LA.
cinematic football resume.
Not bad.
Why not?
Chargers
Why not?
will find a way.
Get Henry Winkler. He played in The Waterboy. He was the head coach of Adam Sandler's team. He's famous. He's a recognizable face. Get the Fonz on the sidelines.
Initially, your pitch, I wasn't putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
You put the pieces together.
That's what I do, Sully.
That puzzle piece seems like it fits together.
You were fixated on part one, but to really make it worse, you have to you passed on the obvious winning choice.
Yeah.
Now you got to make something really stupid on top of it. That's what the Chargers do.
And the timing would be good. They wait 1 year, so then they don't have to pay him, or they're paying him less, and then they take whatever money's left.
We got a ways to go before football, but I cannot wait to see how that plays out. I'm excited to see what the Rams have going on. I think we kind of know. I think we know that we're getting ready for 2024.
They still don't have a kicker, long snapper, or punter, so that's really great.
Emily. Details, Emily. They'll figure that out.
Yeah, you kind of need those.
Well, the punter especially maybe coming up.
Maybe they can find one to do everything.
Like an Ohtani of special teams. We'll just have him
just throws
snap
the ball
it,
to
hold
himself.
it, and kick it along the way. Why not? All right. The Lakers have their playing game tonight.
Yep.
No Gobert, no McDaniels, and no
Naz Reid.
Mm-hmm. They do have Anthony Edwards. They do have Karl Anthony Towns.
Mike Conley too.
Mm-hmm. They have, but Edwards in particular is the guy that you're most concerned about because he could just go bananas, and Cat probably right on the heels there. That's the formula for the Timberwolves making it interesting tonight. That has to happen, and they have to go nuclear. The Lakers just have to kind of be what they've been for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Play hard tonight, play smart, and they're going to take care of their business. I like that formula a lot better because if they do what I just described, if LeBron is pretty good, if Anthony Davis is pretty good, D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves and Dennis Schroeder and all these guys, they're just pretty good. I don't care what those other two guys do. They're going to win the game. The Lakers would have to be bad plus the Timberwolves going nuts, and I just don't see those two things happening.
It's not that different than – it's kind of a comp here, and just because it just finished. March Madness, you have one game, right? So you don't have to beat a team 4 out of 7. And a lot of times it's, all right, if this team is going to beat that school, everything's got to go right for them, and there's also got to be some things that go wrong for the other team. And I feel like that's the comp tonight for the Lakers. And I don't think this is a matter of disrespecting the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think that's just kind of the reality. Can the Lakers lose this game tonight? They can. They can. Anthony Edwards have to go for 35. Karl Anthony Towns has to be right behind him. The Lakers have to just really struggle from 3. They got to – Anthony Davis maybe got into foul trouble. Like, there's got to be a lot of things that have to go wrong. The way the Lakers finished the season was not crazy about. The final week of the season, you could tell it was just kind of – they're just getting to the finish line. Now, even in those games, they still won most of them. They did lose that game to the Clippers. I don't expect that tonight. One question I'd ask, I don't know, do we see a little fatigue from the Lakers by the way they finished the regular season? You had so many games bunched together over these last couple weeks. Each one of those games had so much implications. Not that anything changes tonight, But at any point, does that kind of catch up to them for one game? Could it happen? It can, but there's a reason why they're 8.5-point favorites. Maybe that line has changed since we started the show.
But it's yeah, they could be tired. Yeah, all the things you mentioned. But the Lakers are no longer dependent on just one guy or even just two guys. They're a good team now.
They have a good team.
They have a good team, and that's why I feel the way that I do. This is not, hey, maybe LeBron can have one of those nights. Maybe LeBron can get 40 and just dominate the game.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is averaging 38 and 11 against Minnesota this season, okay? He's been great against them. He doesn't need to do that. Just kind of be what you are most of the time. It's more than enough. This is not a scary team to me. Plus, the Lakers are a real team with real experience, with real leadership, and LeBron is not going to go out there and let his guys kind of sleepwalk through the early part of this game. I just really don't understand. I just don't think that that's on the option tree.
There's a real incentive to winning tonight as well.
Huge.
Trav, you get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. For a team like the Lakers, that's a really big deal. You get Memphis in the next round. Memphis, by the way, they're not completely healthy as well. They're missing a couple of their key guys. So there's a lot of incentive to just finish this. This is also the difference. Being in the 7 slot, it's what part of the bracket are you going to be in? If the Lakers win tonight, they get those 4 days off, plus they get Memphis, who doesn't have Brandon Clark, doesn't have Steven Adams. If they lose tonight, you got another game coming up on Friday. Now you're in the Denver bracket. Sunday, you got the Denver Nuggets off 1 day rest. Second round would be the Phoenix Suns. I know as much as we wanted the number 6 spot, right? I know as much as Laker fans wanted that number 6 spot. But this is the next best thing. You got 7. You get an early game early in the week, and you could still get those 4 days of rest.
They're going to win. They're going to win, unless the gods have something to say about it, which I have questions about next. Plus, Laker fans, are you feeling super confident, little nervous? Are you worried about the one and done or one and quasi-done situation that's presenting itself tonight? 877-710-3776. 877-710-ESPN. And are the gods listening? That's next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, when it comes to scoring
Live Imaging Tuesday on Travis and Sliwa. Trying to way to build. Doesn't this make you feel that?
Took a second to get going there, yeah.
A little bit. More when you get going than the music itself. You're kind of the...
For the table. What? A little bit.
I don't dance.
Get your hips
You can
into
club
it.
in your 40s.
At
Come on.
weddings.
Get your hips into
Exclusively.
Hey, well, let's
So
get a
you want me
bottle of
back?
Tito's for the table on.
Want me to go back in the end of the line again? No problem.
No, you always got to have a plug. Especially these days, you got to have a plug when you walk in. You can't be waiting in line, Slee. You're Alan Sliwa, host of Lakers Talk.
Well, I'm not going to the club, okay? Not going to the club.
That's why you got to walk into the 5 girls, Lee. Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be there this weekend. Name the club on Friday night. I'll be there.
I'd really like to see that. That would be pretty good.
In a
people
tux.
watching.
In a tux.
Yeah, you
Are
look
you coming?
like the lungs. Nah, it's not really my
No?
scene. It's more your jam, Slee.
Yeah, definitely my jam.
Speaking of Lakers,
Live stream it.
tonight, 5:30 p.m., the coverage begins with the Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off with Slee. Lakers-T-Wolves, the play-in game, the 7-8 matchup, as we push to the playoffs, Slee. Are you excited for tonight?
Oh, we're ready to go. You're very aggressive with blowout, which I'm not going to completely disagree with. It would be very disappointing you get into that fourth quarter and it's actually a game. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll be okay tonight.
They're going to win the
right.
game. It may be less than the million that I've predicted, but I don't expect them to lose this game. I think that they are in a great spot. I think they're playing well. I think they got their best. I am as
Lose is
confident
not
as I've
even
been.
lose doesn't even seem like that part hasn't really set in actually losing the game.
No.
It's more fourth quarter, 4 minutes left to go, and it's a 2-point game. That'd be very surprising.
My prediction might not be feeling great at that point. We'll see. I like it. They're going to win.
You
I'm
know,
not worried.
if I go to the game, a lot of times after when I go to the game, I'll come back here. I'll hang out with Slee for post-game, and then we'll talk about life. For sometimes like 2 hours after he gets off
2
the air.
hours?
That's not
This game's going to end at 10:30.
Well, that's the thing. That was like a 5 o'clock game that we did that.
Okay.
But I might. But he may be focused.
It was
one
a good-
night, a couple weeks ago, he was laser focused, and he was not even looking at me. I was like, all right, I'm going to go home. He's like, okay, man, I'll see you.
It was your knee. It was when you injured yourself.
Well, yeah, he wasn't happy about like the ice in his room because he uses a separate studio.
Oh, yeah, well,
for
it's the Lakers Talk studio.
It's
There should be a sign hanging
It's the
over
Slee
the
studio.
door.
The Memorial Slee Studio.
And I had like I had an ice bag on my knee, and he was just like, not in my studio, bro. Not in my studio.
Yeah,
Out.
that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. He
I-
brought a refrigerator in there. He just put his old foot in the fridge.
All right, Travis and Sliwa continues now.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I don't know why. I do know why. I'm not worried about the gods because they're better. I'm not worried about the gods because every single person that follows the NBA, that knows the Lakers, that knows the Timberwolves, this
Sure.
is not a 60-40. This is not a 75-25. This isn't even a 90-10. You're going to have to look long and hard to find somebody that's picking Minnesota to win this game tonight, which should be scary under normal circumstances, but I'm not worried about
Well,
it.
I think on top of it, Minnesota's missing 2 starters for the game. They're missing an important bench player, Naz Reid. Sunday, all anybody watched was Rudy Gobert sort of throwing a punch
Right.
at Kyle Anderson and watched Jaden McDaniels punching a wall and fracturing his hand.
Were you surprised they suspended him for the game tonight? I was.
So Alan Horton, who's the voice of the Minnesota Timberwolves, does their radio play-by-play. He was on the show yesterday. And I asked kind of like, I get it. I don't know the message that they're trying to send, but why didn't they just say, hey, we're going to handle this internally,
Sure.
and Rudy Gobert is going to be on a plane going back to or coming down here to L.A. He actually said he wasn't that surprised. He
Were
said
you
that-
surprised?
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't think – I thought he was going to be playing today.
Yeah.
I definitely thought he was going to be playing today.
If he'd broken his eye socket or bloodied his nose,
No, that didn't
it's a
happen.
different situation.
That
If
didn't
it were Draymond on Poole in front of the world in the playoffs, you have to suspend him. This was 2 guys. You see what Kevin Garnett tweeted about it?
What do you say?
Basically what I've been saying, which is, look, these guys are fired up. They're ready to go in the playoffs. And the LFG, right? It was all good.
Well-
it was all positive. That guys fight.
But
it happens.
I do the stupidity of Gobert to put himself in that
okay.
position. No, not a good look.
It's
That-
stupid, but so what? Guys do stupid stuff all the time. It happens all the time.
That does not happen all the time.
Fights happen a lot, Al.
Okay,
they
but-
happen a lot.
During a game,
Yeah,
that
setting,
scenario
more rare.
doesn't happen all the time.
No, but again, guys argue.
Behind
guys
the
call
scenes,
each
you're
other's
right.
Names, guys push, guys even try to punch each other, and the punch didn't land.
So I go back to this. Gobert, if you just say, all right, that just happened at halftime, I'm going to get some work in at halftime. Behind the scenes in the locker room, I agree with you. Of course that stuff happens. I agree with you that happens at practices. But that's the only video you took out of Sunday was that. I didn't think they were going to suspend him. I thought they were literally going to slap him in the hand. Maybe the only thing I could think of, them knowing that they're in 8th, knowing that they have another home game coming up on Friday, maybe this was their way of saying, all right, well, we'll hold him out for one game, knowing they still have another one to try to get in.
Strike phone call right here. Let's go to Fontana and Jay. Jay, you're on with Travis Lee. What's up, Jay?
Hey, Travis Lee, I love you guys, and I listen to y'all every day. I
Thanks,
just want to say go Lakers, and we are going to kill the Timberwolves. They are already imploding, and they're just giving it to us tonight. So we're definitely going to kill them, no doubts about it. Go Lakers.
You got it, Jay. It does feel like they just need a little nudge, right? For all the reasons that we were just talking about, the fighting and the guy punching the wall is far stupider to me than Rudy Gobert taking a poke at his teammate, right? That because now if they do win or they win on what would it be Friday night, then you've put yourself in a position where he's done, right? He's done. He broke his hand punching a concrete wall. That's real dumb. But this is what Jay is saying. I think is a good addition to what I've been mentioning, which is they're ready to be knocked out. The Timberwolves feel like they're ready to just kind of let this thing go and fall into that next round, almost a live to fight another day kind of mode like you were mentioning. And the Lakers just need to make sure they give them a good hard shove right out of the gate.
It's important for them, too, I think, to kind of set a little bit of a foundation here. We are talking about it. The place, there's a real good chance for the place to be rocking tonight. There's a chance for us to kind of, all right, let's take a seat. Let's take a step back. You got 3-4 days until you play your next game. There's a lot on the line here that has less to do with the Minnesota Timberwolves. It has more to do with you're not one of the top 8 teams right now to make the playoffs. A lot of people are thinking you're a threat in the Western Conference. Handle business tonight, move on, and then now all of a sudden you're part of that top.
Was
top
it
8.
the record-breaking game for LeBron that you and Ireland were talking about, the atmosphere in the building, or was it another one? Because I remember it was Powell. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was Powell. I'm curious if you'll get a vibe like that tonight. It's been a long time since the Lakers have had a full house in a game that had just the result of the game was incredibly important. Like LeBron, the record-breaking night, they ended up losing the game. It was about LeBron getting that bucket. Powell, then that night was about the jersey going up next to everybody else. This is strictly about the result of the game. Win and it's a party, lose and it's oh my goodness, what in the world have we now you are in a this is it.
That's a good point.
Right? Is this the most important game we've seen over there in 10 years? Could that possibly be true?
The only reason no is because they were against the Phoenix Suns, limited capacity, all that stuff.
That's what I mean. It was we were like 5,000 people at that point?
I don't remember, but it was small.
Yeah.
It was probably 25% of, probably 5,000. There's the stakes here tonight are a lot different than the stakes that we've had at Crypto.com in a long time. It's funny when you say that about the Powell and the LeBron game. Yeah, you're right. There was a side story to it. You're getting a Powell jersey.
It had nothing to do with the result of the game.
Right. You're getting is LeBron going to get to? I think you need a 36, right? So
something
there's
like that.
A countdown as you're going.
Yeah.
And the Thunder ended up still winning that game.
And the second he made the bucket, and the second the place exploded, and everybody's excited.
LeBron come out.
It's like, okay, we're done here, right? Let's just move on. The Thunder won that game. Yep. I don't even remember if they won or lost on Powell's night. I just remember that the Powell ceremony was the thing. That Powell's speech was the thing. The dropping of the curtain to reveal the jersey was the thing. It was tonight. It's just about the result.
And if you kind of think about the big games that they had over these last couple of weeks, most of them were on the road. At Minnesota, right? At New Orleans was one of them. The games they had over the last 7 days, Utah didn't play anybody. Phoenix didn't play anybody. Clipper home game.
And I want to throw something in here. That's the one game that we've looked at over this window that the result was the most important thing, right? Not beating those other teams, but that was the one. Hey, look, if you win this, you're very likely out of the play-in tournament.
And that was the difference. It ended up being that game.
Was
that was
the
the
difference, and that was a team that they were playing without their second-best guy. The Lakers did have their full complement of players, and it's just their nemesis right now. It's that just weird statistical anomaly, bad matchup, whatever you want to call it. That was the one where, hey, the result matters tonight, not the narrative, the result, and they couldn't do it.
And it wasn't going into a game of where they're going to eventually win. You didn't know going into that game. It wasn't like the Utah or the Phoenixes. Look, you see what you just did? The spread now probably just went from 8.5 to 7.5. It's went down to 7.
Look, I'll take the over. Give me the over on $1 million. That's how good it feels. Who needs to be the best guy on the court for the Lakers tonight? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Do you have 3 ex-wives in your current trophy?
What if the show open is all of us singing We Are the World?
I like that, by the way. Whose part do you want, Slee?
He's the Cyndi Lauper.
I want that for myself because I can't sing at all. I want Cyndi Lauper so I can be the one that's totally off key.
I want the harder part.
You want Michael Jackson's part?
I mean, the most difficult part. I think we all just sing it together, and it all just sounds awful together, which would be great.
So I don't know technically if we could do it live from a technical standpoint. So what if we videoed
and we're
it?
all holding hands.
What if we videoed it and did parts?
Edit it together?
Yeah.
It's like the Imagine at the beginning of the pandemic when all the celebrities
That
sang
didn't go over
parts of
super
Imagine.
great. Was that Gal Gadot that came up with that one?
Yeah, it was Gal
Yeah,
Gadot.
that didn't work out so great. What sucks, she was just trying to do something nice, and it just didn't really work
Kind
out.
of tone deaf. That's fine.
Yeah, a little bit.
I still want to do the ghost spit, though, with Quentin Yates.
You're going to get a pottery wheel out on the stage.
It's on the list. I told them, we need a pottery wheel. I'm looking for a pottery wheel.
High school's got to have a ceramics class
Do
that
they?
would donate one. Sure.
Do they still have that?
Yeah.
Maybe
at least
down in South OC.
They have one in Dana Hills.
Of course
Taylor,
they
do you still know that guy?
The
You know that
pottery guy? Oh, can we get a pottery wheel for the table?
Of course, I got you.
It's literally for the table. I mean, that is what happens. We're about 20 minutes away from Super Crosstalk. Mason and Ireland will get on in here as we get ready for Lakers basketball tonight, the play-in tournament. The 7-8 matchup coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. The Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off with Slee. The play-by-play at 7 o'clock with Johnny I and Michael Thompson.
Are you Swayze in this pottery wheel situation?
Yeah, I think so. Well, like I said earlier, CY, the big CY, continue. I think he wants to be dominated.
So you would be Swayze. And
so my hands would go over him.
More.
Yeah. And then what if we had a third?
No, I don't think you can.
No, I think no.
You got to stay true to the film.
Yeah, that's against all the rules. That's where we draw the line.
Yes.
You a little hug like the Roy kids. They did a three-person hug.
Roy kids.
Can you imagine if Travis comes out as the third topless?
Nobody needs that.
I'm going skins. It's just everyone's wearing shirts, man.
I'll do a lot of things for the bit, but that would be.
What would you do for the bit, though?
Wait, what did Amanda say earlier? She
go
wanted
deep.
You to, yeah.
Oh, several times, I think is what she said.
But what would
Travis,
be the
we
bit?
want you to go deep several times.
You see, there it is. Thank you, Amanda. There it is. The bit for me in the ghost bit?
No. What's like a bit? If we said everybody's got to do a bit on
me?
stage, like it's a vaudeville show.
He loves karaoke and he loves
a soft
pranks.
shoe.
Karaoke
with
and pranks.
The little straw hat and come out there and do a little soft shoe with the cane.
Play me off.
Yeah, that's
do
my
magic trick. Couple magic tricks.
Mason has thrown out. What if we do karaoke?
Couple ultras. I'll do whatever.
We already know what Travis is going to sing.
Yep. I got my
account. Can't do that one.
Take me out
Why
to the
not?
ball game.
I can do whatever I want. Absolutely. Everybody in the building would know the words. We'd have a wonderful chorus and harmony. Everybody would be doing it at the same time.
I wonder if Mace is going to want to sing the national anthem last year because he got caught off guard, even though we had been talking about it for months. And then Key and I had to help him finish it. Remember, he was a little sketchy when it came to some of the words.
Maybe a chug.
Chug.
We could do. We could have a little preliminary before we get up there and could take on the 3 or 4 best people.
You want to
to
chug on stage?
Sure,
but it's going to get all over your suit.
It's okay. Dry clean.
Yeah.
It's beer. It'll come out.
Yeah. That suit's got a lot of mileage on it.
It's
not.
By the way,
that suit right now is 12,000 miles.
That suit is like brand new tires.
It's a lease.
It just got put on the car.
It's a 3-year lease. He's on the first year of his lease.
Yeah.
There's a Columbo episode. Not to go too deep down a well here, but I always think of Trav when I watch, because I watch a little bit of Columbo every day. And part of what Columbo's trying to figure out is that the guy was murdered by another guy, but the guy who did the murdering put his watch on the guy who he killed.
The dead guy.
And Columbo's whole thing is, if you look at the dead guy's suit and shoes, they're very durable. So why would he have this beautiful watch that could break so easily? And I think when he says durable, I think of Trav. Like Trav's the guy.
I am durable.
Like, give me a durable pair of shoes, a durable suit that I can, last 10 years.
Yes.
Durable.
My shoes are very nice.
Longevity.
I don't think my
Cost
shoes
per wear.
My shoes did not get nearly the respect they deserved last year. I spent a little money on that. Everyone's like, yeah, they're fine. It bothered me.
If you calculated cost per wear, like Emily just said, for your last suit, it must have come down to about 15 cents.
No, quite the opposite. I wear that suit twice a year. It doesn't get a lot of wears. It's a cost per wear. Cost over time, pretty darn good. Cost over wear, I'm getting clobbered.
All right, that's interesting. That's a good point.
Yeah.
We should get you into boots for the man.
You know what, Chris? Honestly, I've thought about it. I really have. I would be so self-conscious doing it.
Why?
I don't know.
I could take you to see my guy Mike at the boot barn.
Mike,
in Orange,
the boot guy?
in Orange, right there on Cattell Avenue.
We might do that.
Get you
for the
fitted
table?
in.
We might do that.
Guys, can we get a pair of boots for the table?
We were watching we were watching Yellowstone, and Susan goes, "You should wear a cowboy hat." I'm like, "It's not really my thing." She goes, "No, you really should wear a cowboy hat." I'm like,
Susan!
So I'm thinking, maybe the boots are like a good jump-off point. Maybe the boots will work just as well as the hat.
Can bring the spark. Not that the spark ever left, but
She likes Rip a lot.
Oh, well, who doesn't?
I know, Rip's
the girl. There's on Instagram, and it's like shows her watching season 1 of Yellowstone, and she's just in there in like pajamas watching on the couch. And then season 2, she's drinking a bourbon. Okay, and then season 3, she's drinking a bourbon, has a cowboy hat on, and cowboy
buckle,
and every season that went by is pretty badass.
Might have to do it, Chris.
Let's go. I'm ready. I'll call Mike. He'll be ready with you.
All right.
Yeah.
What size shoe do you have?
This is a 12, I believe.
6'1".
Well, you want to try it?
Yeah, kind of.
Hey, Slee, help me get this boot off. Come on.
Are you going right or left?
This is right.
Okay.
Hope we're rolling on this. No, you're not going to help?
Are you really taking your boot off?
I want to try it on.
There you go.
Is it wide calf?
Was that an attack on my calf size?
No, I was inquisitive.
And Travis is putting on the boot.
Boot's coming on. He's stuck.
Not yet. I'm not.
He pulled a hamstring.
No, you just pull. That's
Yeah,
why they have the
close.
straps
By
on
the
the
way,
side.
By the way, the way you got it on, it's going to be really hard to get it off.
That's good.
How's it feel?
How does the boot feel?
How's it feel?
See, you feel it. Oh, yeah. Don't you feel great in that?
This is happening for sure.
Yeah?
These are great.
I told you I would have never screwed up my knee and fallen if I was wearing boots that morning.
That's right.
Yeah,
you wear sneakers.
This
Yeah.
is it. I'm doing this. Can I wear them with shorts?
Yes. In fact, if you go to the Mandy's in cowboy boots and shorts, I'll do it with
Wear
you.
jean shorts, like cut off jean shorts and boots.
It's a very specific look, Emily.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but with a sport coat.
We'll get you the belt buckle and everything. A belt buckle that just says T-Raj.
Slee, how do I look?
Look at that. Even
Those actually
that looks
match.
great
Yeah,
on you.
those match. Careful with your leg there.
Hold
buddy.
on,
You
I'm cramping up on
Hurt
the other
yourself.
side.
Yeah, hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself.
I wish I were kidding. I'm literally cramping
Come
up
on,
on the
Trav.
other
You got to
side.
stretch it out, man. Do some yoga.
I don't do that. I might do some yoga.
Can we
This
get
is
the boot
great,
off now?
Chris. Well, yeah, you guys
he's
have to talk
keeping
for a
it.
minute. I need to.
You gotta
I'm
wear
gonna
his.
run out of breath. You guys
the
talk for a minute.
chances of you actually taking that boot off right now, tip off. We're going to be at tip off by the time. Oh, okay. Not bad. Not bad
That was
slide
much
there.
easier than I anticipated.
But if you had to take it
Get
off
my
yourself,
Vans on. It's going to be harder than that.
If you had to take it off yourself, we'd have been here for.
Can I tell you something?
12, 14 minutes.
That was far more comfortable than I was expecting.
I've never owned.
Neither
never
have I.
owned boots like that.
That's not a bad way to do. Plus, now I could be.
And you have a guy. He's got a guy in Anaheim.
I got the boot guy that Chris is going to hook me up with. This is all good.
You're all set.
This is all good. Can I read you a quick tweet?
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. This is from Animal Fries Well Done, one of my favorite Twitter handles here. It says, asking Julio to come out of the pen was never about a lack of respect. They were limiting his innings because he was a teenager. Seeing where he's at right now versus other pitchers, his health, his age, and health-wise, it looks like they did right by him. That's the early part of his career. Like, when they first signed him and brought him to the team, that he's right. Animal Fries Well Done. They did use him out of the pen in an effort to protect his arm. What you and I are talking about is what happened in the World Series against the Rays, where they used him as the closer, which, by the way, he's not a closer. He's a starting pitcher. And they did a great job. He won the World Series for him. He was terrific. And then the next year, you're using him as like a bridge
the
guy.
first time we've ever seen it.
Yeah, all of a sudden you
Got
decided
too cute.
He's your best player in an elimination game, and you're thinking, you know what we'll do? We'll bring him in the fourth inning. Huh? You would never do that to Clayton Kershaw. You would never do that to Walker Buehler. And that they did it to Julio felt odd. And I remember at the time we were talking about, like, I understand that he has come out of the pen, that he can prepare in a way that maybe those other guys are not as accustomed to. But disrespectful feels a little bit too much of an explanation, Slee, but it's at least in the neighborhood, right?
I think for him, I think his actions today maybe speak to how they have used him. So I think whether I feel a certain way about it, you feel a certain way, or Animal Fries Well Done on Twitter feels a certain way, how does he feel? And I think the way he feels, it's clear, yeah, this hasn't always gone as... And listen, if he's with any other franchise, any other team, organization, his stuff is good enough, he's a good enough pitcher where it's not even a conversation. All right? Let me give you an example. If he pitched for the Padres, he's the best pitcher on the Padres. Period, question.
Slee, he's the best pitcher on the Dodgers.
He's the best pitcher on the Dodgers today, but the way they have used him in the past was not labeled as the best pitcher for the Dodgers.
Fair.
So that's the only point I'm trying to make,
Okay.
is that he is, no question about it. We just said that you're most comfortable when he has the ball. You're most comfortable when you're on a 3-game losing streak and you gave up 31 runs in your last 3 games, that he's going to stop the bleeding. But that hasn't always been the way the Dodgers have used him or perceived him. Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, I get it. Max Scherzer was obviously a part of the team. Trevor Bauer, right? So
sure.
You got a lot of guys that have been before Julio, where I think with other franchises that wouldn't be the case.
The question that he hasn't answered to it Scott Boras has an answer to it, and maybe the Dodgers know in the back of their mind, but maybe don't want to admit it to themselves, is did the way that they handled what we're talking about stick with him? Or was he completely amenable to the idea of, yeah, look, whatever you need me, Kenley can't get anybody out, I'll do it. Was he 100% on board? Hey, we're thinking about opening with an opener. We're thinking about bringing you in the middle innings to get through the really meaty part. Maybe he's like, yeah, cool, whatever you need out of me. Maybe it was that, or it's, yeah, whatever. I mean, just tell me when you want me to pitch, and I'll go pitch. That how much of an impact did that have on his psyche? How much of an impact? It obviously didn't affect his ability to pitch. He's pitched fantastically. But did it at the back of his mind, like, you guys really don't understand what I'm about. You guys really don't appreciate me the way maybe you appreciate other players. He knows the answer to that. It could be no, I'm fine. It could be that.
Sure.
It could be not that. And that's the part until a deal's done, until he leaves. If he stays, obviously it didn't poison the well. If he leaves, maybe we'll find out that, yeah, that didn't sit well with me. They didn't ask anybody else to do it like that.
What I hope, that he at least understands. Listen, if there's one thing, the Dodgers, the pitchers that we just named off, they're all great pitchers. So I think as long as Julio just understands that the organization means well, they might have had a bad strategy or a bad idea, but ultimately they're just trying to win.
Yes.
And they have.
But isn't there a difference, Al? Like, for instance, they didn't ask Clayton Kershaw to do it. Mm-hmm. They didn't ask Max Scherzer to do it.
Sure.
They didn't ask Walker to Buehler to do it. They didn't ask Tony Gonsolin. Maybe they would ask Tony Gonsolin if the situation came up to do it similar. But that's a totally different tier, right? Mm-hmm. Do you ask Dustin May to do something like that? Yeah, maybe. But this is the tier, and he's not on that tier. He's on that first tier that we're talking about. And did he do it? Absolutely. He was terrific. But did it stick with him, I think, is the part that we're talking about.
I think if you're Julio, I think if you take a step back and you say, look, I got the ball to start off this season. I know I'm an ace. They know I'm an ace. I've won a World Series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're competing every single year. I'm going to get paid. I think if you take a step back, there's more positive than there is negative.
Market too.
The question is just kind of comes down to him. Do you want to be just one of the unbelievable players on this roster, or do you want to maybe be the guy somewhere else? I don't have that answer. I really don't.
What if the Padres, the Angels, the Cubs, the Braves, like, Dodgers are offering you 35, we'll give you 42.
Mm-hmm.
Tough that market winning 42, $7 million more per year over 10 years or 6 years or whatever. Now we're talking an extra $40 million.
I guess then it just questions how much do you value playing for this franchise? Yeah. That would be the difference.
And this is where the feelings come back.
Yeah.
Do I have just a little bit of, you know what, these guys, they had a chance to treat me right and they didn't. That stuff lingers with some people more than others.
Sure.
Some people can water off their back.
They don't
not
care.
a big deal.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. We're cool. Other people, no. Remember that time 6 years ago where you didn't say hi to me in the kitchen?
You're right.
I never forgot that. It's like, okay. I don't know which guy he is. We'll see. We will see. The Dump coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. If you're injured in an accident, you need to know that
Time for the dump.
So the Tampa Rays are within just a couple of wins, Slee, of 3 wins, I should say, of tying the 87 Brewers for the fastest start in Major League history. They have won their 10th consecutive game yesterday. They beat the Red Sox 1-0. It's the first game that they haven't won by at least 4 runs. It's the first close game that they've played all season long. 9th team in MLB history to start a season 10-0 or better. First since the 87 Brewers to start 13-0.
Okay, don't look. Do you know their run differential? Have you seen it at all?
I do. Okay. I looked at it this morning.
Oh, my gosh.
It's 50, is it 54?
Dodgers, by the way, are
second.
plus 24.
They're second.
And this is the win yesterday. They got 9-1, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of come down a little bit versus Arizona. Yeah. They're plus 58.
They're 58, and the Dodgers are 24?
24.
Yeah, they got a 34-run advantage on the next closest team. They've been absolutely clobbering people. That reminded me, we were talking this morning about crazy baseball streaks to start the season. In 1988, the Orioles opened the season 0-21. So baseball's like endless, right? 6 months, you basically play every day, and you play 162 of these things. You've played for 3 weeks, 21 games. Your season's over. You're done. You got to go play another 5.5 months of meaningless baseball games.
If
3
you
months
play
into the 3 weeks
500 the rest of the way, you finish the season 21 games below 5.
Yeah. Longest hit list streak, Chris Davis, 2018 and 19, it stretched over a 54 plate appearances with 0 hits. So the Rays have got a long way to go before they break some of these records. The pitch clock, John, you're going to like this. Turn on John's mic here. That the Brewers are apparently thinking that this may be working a little too well. They are extending beer sales past the end of the 7th inning. They're going into the 8th inning to sell beer because the games just aren't lasting long enough for them to get all their beer revenue.
See, now, Travis, that's the type of adjustment we need. The heresy put out on this program yesterday of let's make the pitch clock a little bit longer.
Just a little longer.
A little bit, like 3
just
seconds.
A little.
Maybe 5.
Maybe
5.
Yeah. By the way, you've created a monster. Okay, so last night during the Dodger game, I'm sure you guys have the very same thing. We have kind of a group text that we keep going. And so it's me, it's Jorge, it's Mason, it's Bergman. Watching the Dodger game last night, Dodger game's flying along. For people who don't know what we're talking about, yesterday, Travis said he was at a game, and by the way, for a little, Travis, you like to say context. I don't believe there is context in sports radio.
I'm well aware that you don't believe in that.
Travis said you were at a game and it moved a little too fast for you.
It moved very fast.
Yeah, and so I was watching this game last night, and I'm getting ready for the show.
The Dodger
and I'm
game?
doing my homework. Yeah, I'm doing my homework for the game tonight, and I look up, and it's the bottom of the 6th inning. I mean, I just turned on the first pitch, and I'm like, this is fantastic. So I text to our group, love the pace of these games. Travis is crazy. Bergman writes back, I get what he's saying.
Thank you, Greg.
20 to 25 on the clock would be a happy medium, slows down slightly, and it would help being at the game
just a little bit.
Be a better experience. It's too fast at the park.
The Brewers agree.
No, the Brewers don't agree. They're trying to get everybody drunk.
And they need more time to get people drunk.
No, drop this ridiculous.
Are you trying to slow down the game?
He is.
No,
He's trying.
the Brewers.
You didn't even know it, and you've created a movement.
The Brewers have decided. You know how they stopped selling beer at the end of the 7th inning?
Yes.
The Brewers are like, yeah, these games are going way too fast. We're going to push it to the 8th inning.
You know, it's funny. That's what Clayton Kershaw said.
About the sales?
Clayton Kershaw said, hey, games are going so fast, are they going to sell enough beer?
Yeah. Well, the Brewers are saying they're
but
not.
I still don't want to slow down the game.
That's
just drink
the
faster.
only
Drink faster.
That's the only surprising part is if it affects economics of just what they sell during a regular 9-inning game. If that starts changing, they might make it a little bit longer.
Now, the flip side would be that if the game, people like John, that want the game to go in a half an hour.
Yeah.
That if the
Trev,
game,
how about this? 2 strikes and you're out.
2 strikes and you're out.
Why
I like
not?
that.
Let's go nuts.
Yeah.
That if the games are let's say they're 225 on average.
Right.
That I will go more often because I don't have to spend the whole day, and
That's
I can
me.
get more beer sales in those more
That's
oftenly
me.
attended games.
I will go
Maybe
more
it's a
often
wash.
if the games go 225. I will give
They're
you that.
going. I think So I was listening to Costas last night talk about this, and they basically recalibrating the average after every night.
Yeah. And by the way, when we were little kids, this is how long the games were.
That's why it's fine, right?
Yeah.
It's totally fine. This is how it actually is supposed to be. We just got to get used to it again.
Right.
It's like
100%.
It's like 237 right now. The average is.
That's awesome.
It's incredible.
That's not a bad time.
Give me another 12 minutes, and I'm there.
Shortest North America of the three major sports. Shortest.
That's the
games.
shortest.
Yeah, that's
Guys,
the shortest.
going to get your checkbook out for this. So the Sunday ticket left DirecTV. It's going to YouTube.
Crazy.
Right?
The price is outrageous.
So if you are a YouTube subscriber, you can get it for $349.
I think I paid $249
That's
last year.
up $100.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are a non-YouTube subscriber, the subscription fee is $449.
Now, my grandma would say, that's highway robbery. It really
grandma
is.
said that.
Remember that
Now, is
expression?
the
Highway
NFL
robbery.
Network still going to
I
have their own
think
red zone? or is there only going to be one red zone and it's on YouTube?
I think
there's
it's
only
YouTube.
one. I think
it's
YouTube has
so
the exclusive
Siciliano
rights.
is going away.
Yeah.
Yes,
It
Siciliano
sounds like it.
actually announced that he's
Yes.
leaving it after many years.
So,
but that is
I would
a
probably
really
Trav,
high
if
price.
I'm being honest, I'm probably still going to do it.
That's
how I have watched NFL football for
do you
the
watch
past.
the Sunday ticket or do you want the red zone?
Red zone.
Because that's going to cost you more. $489.
Yeah, I'd probably pay it.
Are you a YouTube
for the whole
subscriber?
year? I'm not.
Okay, so it will cost you $489.
But wait a minute, am I a YouTube subscriber? I
You have to
sign
have,
into YouTube.
No, you have to have. I think you have to have
You have to
YouTube
pay for
TV.
YouTube
TV.
So it's
they're
like
using
$65
this
a
as the
month.
hammer to get people to do YouTube
But
TV.
even with YouTube TV, the Red Zone bundle is $389.
Yeah, see, Red Zone is less important to me because I watch the Rams.
Yeah.
Like, I'm there to watch one
Yep,
game,
yep.
and then whatever the other game is great. But I'm watching the Rams, and I know that game's on every
So
week.
as
or
a
I'm at
season
that
ticket
game.
holder, because for me, I watched I was a Sunday ticket Red Zone person like you, John,
too,
for
yeah.
20 plus years, and then when I started doing the Rams games, I'm at SoFi
Yeah.
or the Coliseum,
Sure.
so
With
I
me.
stopped buying it because I don't use it. I'm not
Yes.
home on Sunday. Did you still keep it, or did
I
you?
did
punt?
not keep it. I did not keep it for exactly the same reason. I'm either watching the Rams game or I'm at the Rams game.
Guys.
So I need it less.
Guys, there's always an illegal link. I'll get you
Bergman-
guys.
no,
Bergman will have it.
Bergman will
Yeah.
have
We
it
will
figured out.
find it. We'll figure it out.
Bergman has more illegal links than any man in America.
The call to DirecTV every year was always one of my favorite calls to make. Right?
You threaten to quit,
You
they
say-
throw it in for free.
Just about.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't want Sunday ticket. Oh, no, it's, you've been here for. Yeah, it's too expensive. Well, what would you pay? Not that, and they'll drop it at no. Still,
Right.
wait. You can get it down to $50 if you just keep saying no.
Yeah, exactly.
It was. I don't know if
All right,
YouTube's
so
going to do it like
I'll
that.
give the NBA. I'm assuming. Did you always have the league pass or no? NBA.
Yeah, still do.
So this year they dropped it down. It's $100.
Yeah, no, I have the league pass. I have the MLB pass too.
So I thought this is the first time where it was actually really affordable. $100 you get every NBA game, and I don't know if the strategy was
That's a good
just
deal.
this. They didn't have enough people who bought it. Probably one of them. And the second one, let's just get as much exposure as we can.
I think that's
Thought
a
that's the
huge
right
factor.
strategy.
is
This
let's
was
get
weird, and they've
product
never
out
done
there.
this before. I've been a DirecTV subscriber since 1995.
Me too.
And
Still am.
did you notice, Trav, that this year they threw in MLB for free?
No.
Yeah, you get it for free.
Call them.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, just
you gotta
turn
make
it
a
on,
call.
you'll get it.
Call
Okay.
and complain.
I
Call and complain. You'll get it for free no matter what.
I watch the Dodgers every night.
Yep.
I'll watch the Angels with
Now,
the
if
Dodgers
you have DirecTV, how do you watch the
on Spectrum
they're-
Sportsnet.
They,
They
are
added
on.
it. They added
They
it to a
finally
couple
got
years
that,
ago.
yeah.
It's back on, and you get every Angel game. That ESPN has a lot of games. FS1 has a lot of
Yep.
games. MLB Network had a game. You get a lot of baseball.
Do you get Bally's as part of yours too,
Yep.
or no?
Yeah,
Yep.
Bally's is part of it.
You get all of them.
Let's do a little Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM, Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
So Slee is not on board with Succession, but Emily and I apparently spoiled Succession for everybody.
A lot of
earlier on.
people
You
are very
didn't spoil
upset.
it. Here's my theory. Like our friend Molly Knight was upset at her followers because she gets the West Coast HBO.
Okay.
And so her East Coast followers ruined it for her. And she said, people stop doing that. I think that's on Molly. I think that's...
Don't check
She
your
didn't
stuff.
play any defense. You can't go on social
Well,
media.
on top of that, HBO Max, you get it at 6. You get it at the
Yes.
same time as everybody
It
else
comes
gets
out.
it. So why not watch it streaming? Because you don't even need an East Coast, West Coast feed.
And it was Sunday night. We talked about it Tuesday morning. If you really are that into it, you've seen it by now.
Yeah.
I do not feel bad about that.
I don't know. A lot of people haven't.
What's the deadline then?
We normally, with Game of Thrones, we used to give a week.
A week?
Yeah. Give you a week to watch it.
That's fair.
But I mean, now
fair.
it's out there, so I think we. I mean,
You guys are good
they
to go.
did it.
Yeah. He's dead.
They.
I mean, he was from the morning. I didn't even know any of this was happening, nor do I watch it, so I have no idea. I was surprised that you were like, yeah, this is what happened. It's over.
By the way, Trav, I changed the subject. I disagree with you that this is going to be a blowout tonight.
You
Oh,
did.
I think it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think Anthony Edwards is maybe the most underrated player in the league.
He's terrific.
And the Lakers gave up 70 points in the paint to Utah without any of their best players. And I think Anthony Edwards is going to attack the rim, and I think he's going to find a way to keep the game close. I think the Lakers are going to win it. The way I see this playing out is close game with 6 minutes to go. Lakers pull away in the end. Sleep kind of like the game the other day, where it was close. You know, you didn't feel comfortable until there was about 4 minutes to go. But I do not think.
I think the game,
Lakers by a
million.
million.
But I do think Lakers by double digits, and one of the big reasons for that
Line's
is
8.5, Mace.
and I already have mythical money on that.
Okay.
I caught it at 7.5. But the Timberwolves send players to the line the third most in the league,
And
the
Lakers live at the
go
line.
to the line third most in the league. So I think the free throw line is going to be a
and
huge factor in
Here's
tonight's
kind
game.
of the game within the game. The Timberwolves roster, until 2 weeks ago, had 3 7-footers on it. Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, and Karl Anthony Towns. Now Gobert and Reid are out. I think almost by necessity, unless they play Luke Garza, who's on their G League team, that big kid out of Iowa.
It's going to be Karl
They'll
Anthony.
go
Karl
small.
Anthony Towns has to guard AD. If I'm the Lakers, I force feed AD in the first quarter and see if I can get 2 fouls on Towns and get him out of there.
He's been really good against Minnesota this season, too. I saw it this morning. He's averaging 38 and 11 against the Timberwolves. AD is.
Yeah.
So that's a good matchup for him, just straight up.
Now,
And
Towns is a good three-point shooter, though, so you don't
pull him out.
Right, he'll pull him out on the other
Yeah.
end.
That's where Anthony Edwards can get to the
So
basket.
And Jade
Right.
McDaniels was the best cover for LeBron James. In
And
fact,
he's in a cast.
Held him to like 3 for
he's
15
out,
in a
Trav.
small
He's-
sample
for sure. He
size.
broke his hand punching a wall.
By the way, there's a clarification on that. So you know how there's like a
like a tarp.
plastic tunnel, a tarp?
Yeah.
He actually punched the tarp
Hit a pole.
and didn't realize
That
it
a
was
wall.
next to a brick wall.
Yep.
So he wasn't trying to hit the wall. He was trying
That
to
helps
hit
a
the
little
tarp.
bit, I guess.
It does. It mitigates it a little bit. Still stupid.
He still has a broken hand, and he's
Yeah,
still done for the
exactly,
postseason.
exactly.
So it's not
Was it
that
Gus
great of a
Farrat
mitigating
who
factor.
ran head
He nearly
first?
broke his neck.
Just
Farrat.
don't do that, guys.
Do you remember that?
No.
So Gus Farrat
Ran
threw-
in for a touchdown.
Yeah, and was excited and ran over to basically the concrete tunnel and headbutted the wall and nearly maybe did break his neck.
He was
Yeah,
out.
he was out for the season.
Well, remember
after that.
Baker Mayfield was a guy that also did that. Didn't do it as hard, but he did
Yeah.
run his helmet into the wall.
I'm not really into hitting things super hard with my head.
No,
That's not my
especially in
jam.
football.
No.
I mean, your head's already getting hit hard enough.
I think that the reason I'm as confident as I am is just the way that this thing has set up over not just the last week or the 10 days, since they made the trade, since Russell Westbrook was sent out and the new players were brought in, Anthony Davis has been not only very, very good, he's played virtually every night. LeBron James came back ahead of schedule and appears to be healthy enough to impact games. The supporting cast has been not good, but very good. The overarching success of this team since, the last 24 games or so, been the best team in the league.
Right, and haven't they won 9 of their last 11?
They
I think
have.
9 of 11.
And they've only lost one game with D'Lo, LeBron, and AD
Yeah,
in the
that
lineup.
Clipper game where they didn't show up.
Right. This is the better team.
Yeah.
It's not just that, this matchup or that. They're the better team, and they're the better team against pretty much everybody not named the Clippers at this point. They just look like they're better than the opponent.
Minnesota, I mean, whether you think that was a really a serious punch or whatever, that leaving Gobert, it's a team in it's a team in turmoil, right? I mean, no matter what, they're in this dramatic thing going on, and I think also the Lakers are rock solid and they're kind of a mess.
Slee was talking about this, the idea that they come out a little flat-footed. It just doesn't seem likely to me because they've worked so hard to get all the way back to where they are right now. The idea of either consciously or subconsciously taking that deep breath, it's not going to happen tonight.
The last week was not good basketball. They didn't play good basketball in the last week.
So those are conflicting statements.
Right, Utah, they were bad both games.
You say not going to happen tonight. You say they've been playing that way for a week.
So they have been, and they did play like that for a week. But I also understand that if they came out tonight, if they came out tonight and said, "Yeah, we're not messing with our food. We don't care that Phoenix doesn't have their entire roster, Utah doesn't have their entire roster. This is the game where if you win it, you get 4 days off.
Right,
you're now in the side of the bracket where
that to me is the bigger issue, that you're on the right side of the bracket. Mm-hmm. What a loss tonight would do would not only mean they have to play Friday night for their season, but it moves them into the bracket where all the teams that they don't match up well with are
Phoenix and the
Clippers, and even Denver are all on the other side. So if they win tonight, they draw Memphis in the first round. Memphis also missing 2 7-footers.
Mm-hmm.
So Anthony Davis would have a favorable matchup there. And if they get past them, they probably run into the Warriors, who they were 3-1 against this year. So that's their pathway tonight with a win.
Mm-hmm.
They get to stay on the right side of the bracket.
By the way, 17 basketball experts from ESPN. All 17 pick the Lakers tonight. All 17, by the way, pick the Suns over the Clippers. 17-0. Nobody's picked.
That's something I think. Kevin Durant has lost 0 games with the Suns.
Yeah.
Every game he's played in, they've won.
And he's 26-2 since the start of the new year.
Right. I know that he missed a lot of time. I know that he got hurt, and I know that the Lakers are playing well, and that when you look at the brackets and how it breaks down, that it breaks in a favorable way for them. But Kevin Durant is the boogeyman in this whole thing, right? He's the scariest guy in the draw. That team, that guy, I don't care that they're the 4th seed, that he's lost 0 games. It feels like nobody's talking about that. 0 games is not a lot.
It's kind of funny. In Brooklyn, too, with all the different stuff that was going on over the last couple of years, he was still great. It's the problem was he was with the wrong organization or with the wrong teammates. It's not just that Kevin Durant is great. Devin Booker's there.
Yeah.
Chris Paul is down to dish the ball to whoever it is. DeAndre Ayton. They actually have a really good team. And, oh, by the way, KD
Does
is
it
great.
feel, to you guys, like there's a heavy favorite on that side? Is it Phoenix? Is it Denver as the one?
To me, it's Phoenix. Phoenix is the team to beat in the West, and I want to get Lakers Suns in the Western Conference Finals and take our chances against them.
Yeah, that's, I think, the right way to go.
Why is nobody picking Denver?
Haven't been there. And by the way, I think
they don't play really good defense. Jokic is great,
and I think they finished
really
the season
defense.
losing 5 out of 7.
Yeah,
they mailed it in at the end of the year. And
do we get chalk at the end of this thing? Is there a chance it's just Milwaukee and Denver,
totally
and we've spent all this time and it's just no? These guys played for 6 months.
We lived for all this time, though. This is our job.
I understand.
We love the time.
I understand, but then when they start to go, it's like, oh no, they're the 2 best teams.
So
for obvious
I want to
reasons.
know: is Emily? Are you going to the speed dating thing? Is that your jam?
I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'll do it.
So what's the background on this?
So there's a group on Instagram that are kind of trying to get people to do a speed dating thing. I have some friends that have done it in the past. It's fun enough.
So does it work? Did you see the movie Hitch?
I have not seen the movie Hitch, but essentially it's you're on a table and you switch seats.
Yeah, that's
they
the movie
did
Hitch.
in 40-Year-Old Virgin too.
And in the Creek Show.
I did one. And,
did you?
And got 2 hookups out of it. Yeah, so
okay,
you can totally.
Is this before you came out?
Oh,
or was it with men or with women?
Men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dudes.
All right.
Yeah, so it'll totally work. You just you basically because
is it awkward?
Wasn't for me, but it can be. I'm sure it can be. But
why was it not for you?
Because
you're comfortable in your
totally,
skin.
totally comfortable. But here's the thing, you get to once you meet somebody, yes or no, right? Do you not?
Yeah,
do you tell
kind
them?
of, yeah.
Do you say like, hey, okay, yeah,
this is working, let's leave?
Trade numbers, or how does it work?
I'm not really sure the logistics of it. They just were trying to convince me, and I was like,
where
maybe.
is it?
I think they do it in Echo Park somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah. No, you should absolutely do it, and you should get the social media team there to actually record the entire thing.
Don't even record it.
Carlos Saisu will put it out in chunks.
Live stream it.
Yeah, live
Wear a
stream.
GoPro.
Live stream.
How long have you been married, John?
Since 1999. So
Okay.
what's that? 24 years.
24 years. So we're about the same. And she was asking me like, put yourself in the head of a single man. I would do it. Would you do it? Like just because it feels
for
like
the hell of it.
You're going to know pretty quickly. Just purely, I'm attracted to this person or not. That's like the jump off. And now, if I can stand to talk to you for 5 minutes, let's see where it goes.
Right. I think
it's a pretty good way to do it.
People do too much pre-talking. Like, you connect on whatever dating site, an app. Then you start texting back and forth. Then you develop some sort of texting relationship.
Yeah.
Then finally you sit down and you're like, oh, this isn't going to work.
I already know everything about
him. I've done something similar to this.
I don't find them attractive. Right? Isn't that kind of the jump off for this?
Yeah.
That's just biology.
It either clicks or it doesn't click.
Well, it's somewhat different. I did have to do like this kind of thing with like sorority recruitment. You have to like just have a conversation with someone cold off the blue and for 5 minutes until someone else comes along. So I'm kind of used to that kind of thing, but obviously it's different in a romantic
All right,
sense.
so I sit down across from you in this speed dating thing. Who talks first?
I think it's just whomever sits down,
All right,
or
so
who is seated.
You want to do it?
Yeah, let's role play.
Jorge's saying rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, let's role play.
Okay.
Hi, I'm John. What's your name?
Hey, I'm Emily.
Hi, Emily. What are you into? What do you like to do?
I'm really into Succession. Have you watched
So
the
am
episode
I.
this week?
So
What did
am
you
I.
think of the episode?
It was fantastic, but I don't want to spoil it like Travis because there might be a few
right.
people out there listening.
Well, don't worry. I've already seen it. So who do you
Okay.
think ends up, running the Waystar Royco?
This is a good question.
That is a good question.
Something is telling me, I think Roman's going to blow himself up. I think Connor is not a factor.
No, not at all.
Why do you say that?
Connor's kooky.
It's between Sarah Snook and Jeremy Strong. I think it's going to be Shiv.
Why don't you think it's someone who isn't in the family? Why don't you think
Like
it's Jerry
Jerry?
or
Why Jerry?
Carl
I heard you're
or
a big
Carrie?
Jerry fan, yeah.
I
Who
love
isn't?
Jerry.
I don't
I
think
love
they can
Jerry.
fire Jerry now. Jerry
Has seen too much.
They tried to fire Jerry, and I said to Mason yesterday, would that not be the biggest open and shut sexual harassment case in corporate history?
Yes.
She
with
also
Roman?
knows where
Yeah.
the bones
Yeah.
are buried. She knows
Yeah.
about the cruises thing.
Okay.
She could be
I
playing
want
for the
to.
cruises
If
thing.
I'm the referee,
What happens
of
if right
speed dating-
they're like the
By the
date's
way,
over?
I think you are. This is a connection right here.
It is.
Yeah.
So I want to role play that exactly the same way, but I
Okay.
want you to say I've never seen the show.
Okay.
Now what happens?
All right. Hey, Emily, what are you into?
I really love Succession. I saw the episode this week. Did you
What's
see it?
Succession?
Oh, Succession's a show about these people who are actually kind of, unlikable.
I don't own a TV. Do you watch a lot of TV?
I do watch a lot of TV, but how else do you spend your time? Do you go for hikes?
Good
Like,
question.
what is your thing
I
outside
get
of
stoned
work?
every day at 4:20.
Hey, that's my
Nice.
line.
What strands? Where do you go? What do you buy?
I live in Venice. I only have to walk 10 feet either way, and I'm in a dispensary.
Oh, that's sick. So, what's the most fun time that you've been high? Like, what did you do when you were high that was the most fun thing you've ever done?
Emily
good
keeps
questions.
the ball rolling there.
Yeah.
I like that.
What's the most fun time I ever had when I was high? Well,
Yesterday.
it's X-rated. Would you object to me continuing with this
Maybe
story?
if we were on a speed date, then
Yeah.
you can go into this, but maybe not on live
Skip
radio.
the X-rated stuff. No, see, I think you're really
And
good
kept
at
the
it, Emily.
conversation
You-
going
Yeah,
there.
you are.
kept the ball rolling.
See,
You
what
gotta
you're good at is you can kind of stick and move. So wherever the conversation goes, you'd be good at.
You know what I would do?
We'll
I
do
would
it.
say, hey, let's play some Factor Cap.
Yeah, you should. Back to
So
cap.
cat.
Factor Cap.
So cat.
So Cap.
Crosstalk, super Crosstalk, powered by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger is all about. Mason and Ireland coming up next.